Wagwan.
Hello, hello, hello.
We is here. We is here. I got Einstein on today
Okay.
because
Okay.
I ain't never gonna stop
Hello,
today.
hello.
We is here. We is here. I got Einstein on today
Okay.
because I. Oh,
Oh,
you
sorry.
forgot. That's okay.
It was unmuted. We've been going for a while, so we have new viewers. I'm Koya, the unicorn.
Are you Koya the unicorn? Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
Also
She's here,
Koya
everybody.
Blade, also unicorn intuition. This is Matt Marshall,
That would be me.
and we're the Ones Creative Group, and we're doing I like to call these kind of like me and Matt's like kickback because me and Matthew talk on the phone a lot, and we it to you guys because I feel like it was selfish. And so, like, if you ever are curious about what our platform is, we're not on here to be all like extra and stuffy all the time. Like, we might just have random conversations about anything. We might just get on here and not have a topic. We might just have like a straight up session. You know what I'm saying? We be chilling. Sometimes we are adults. Sometimes we uh smoke marijuana. Sometimes we drink. Sometimes we just chilling. We just be chilling. And we will have conversations about a variety of things. And we will have random people on, and sometimes we'll bring people on in the middle of the session. And we are going to probably start having breaks as well because we do talk for a long time. Because that's what we do. So yeah, you can always hop on, hop off, hop in, hop out, whatever. We'll probably still be here though.
Right, 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 right.
So yeah, just wanted to give y'all a little, introduction. But today's topic, and we took a little break. I was tired. I had some things to do. Need to do some self care. Um, and I really didn't really want to keep talking about this, but it seems necessary right now. And after having to watch conventions and things like that, it is absolutely necessary to have a conversation about propaganda. And then we will probably have some other conversations about propaganda. We're going to talk about politics and propaganda today, but there's some other propaganda things happening. There's a lot of scamming happening. There's a lot of propagandas happening. There's a lot of things happening during this pandemic, like a lot of scams in general. And I consider that propaganda as well. So, I mean, like abnormally alarming amounts of telemarketing. Like, I consider all of that propaganda, though. It's preying on the weak-minded. It's preying on people who are unaware. It's preying on those who do not know the questions to ask. So, I just play games with them now. But
And that is true. There are a lot of people that are getting duped for money, a lot of money too. It's like
like a large,
ridiculous. And then people are taking advantage of the system with these loans and the grants and putting together fake information and credit
exactly.
lines, and so it's really making it hard for the people that are really trying to do this on our own and trying to really um, get the real stuff for ourselves, the real help, the real resources.
Mhm.
And it's just been, a difficult way to go for a lot of people because of that. And
Mhm.
I'm getting calls, almost got scammed about the light bill. And they were like, we're gonna
Me
shut
too.
your
Like
light.
it's real
I was
stuff.
like,
It's real. Like it's things that like I'm actually attending to. So it's
hmm
like I just don't even deal with the phone calls, but the emails are getting crazy too.
hmm
And and like I know how to find things because that's what I do. But they're preying on people, but so is this propaganda and so these politics. I
So
don't know. I don't know if you have something particular to say. I have a request because what I would like to call the largest propaganda that I have seen in the last 6 months or so. There is one thing that has stood out to me that I have would like to deem 2020's largest propaganda, the RNC. That's all I want to say. I just need to talk about it at some point today. We don't have to start with it, but it has to be a conversation.
well, we're gonna put that on your we'll put that for a segment
I just needed to tell
because I
you.
got some information on that
Okay, I just
whole
needed to tell you so I could.
right. And well, I got some
Yeah.
information for that whole thing. I think the biggest thing, like when we're talking about fake info wars, right? When we say that, like, it's like, what do you mean by info wars? Like, there's a fake information battle going on right now with all of us. It's a war that's being fought between people like you and I against other people that we deem are giving out misleading or misguided information, some of it blatantly false information. And then, it's seeing that on all levels. We're seeing that from just friend groups,
Mhm.
we're seeing that in families, we're
Mhm.
seeing that in businesses and jobs. We're seeing it in our politics. We're seeing it in everything that's going on. And it's at a all-time high right now. And that's why it's a war, because the war, if we don't get control of how information is trusted, that's going to throw everything that was supposed to be built well in America out of whack. Now we could talk about how that wasn't done, but there are things that the reason why we want to make the system better here is because it's the best place that has a system that can be changed. Other places not so adept to that. So um misinformation and disinformation. Online has created a situation that this is extremely prevalent. And
Mhm.
to understand it is disinformation is for those like to just get some truth out here to people. Like, let's start from the baseline of truth, right?
Mhm.
Disinformation is information that is intentionally spreading false or misleading info. Okay,
Okay.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
And misinformation is unintentionally sharing that same false or misleading info. So, to make it easy, you have, if like since we're going into politics, if Trump says a lie, he says lots of lies, right? That's disinformation. When he says this has happened but it hasn't happened, that's disinformation. When his minions take that disinformation and go on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everything, and say, see, the president said blah 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 blah, lie 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 lie, they're doing misinformation. So, and I'm using that as an example because that's the most prevalent example being presented to us right now
Mhm.
in America and to the world. Like, there's a lot of it, but right now with the election, like, this is what we're focusing on. Like, the fact that disinformation is being misinforming people.
Mhm.
Okay, and we got to stop that. And the coronavirus is a big issue that shows like how this was really done. Like, he come up with all the disinformation, and the next thing you saw, all this misleading stuff everywhere, and
Right.
nobody understands it. So now we have cases of virus that are just like crazy, like the highest in the world. Like, I don't
And
care
then
if they
people,
not
and
testing.
then people are building propaganda on top of that. Right.
Right. And then that builds the propaganda of this is what's happening, this is what we're doing. And it's blatant lies. How can you say you're doing better than other places that are d- clearly doing better?
Right.
Like, and they'll come on and say,
Well,
"No,
that's
we
what I
don't
want
have
to
this."
say. So let me just I want to break this down more simple for people. So propaganda for me in layman's terms, like the way we use it now, right? The way we use propaganda, we use it on a daily basis. Clickbait, it is the most common of propaganda. I mean, I believe it is a great tool to because see there's like propaganda and then there's ways of using propaganda in a positive way as well, right? Because ultimately it's going to be propaganda this is what we have to understand, right? There is someone else talking about everything that we say on this is propaganda, right? So we have to understand that we are talking to everyone in a general sense. So clickbait, the point of clickbait is usually something that's going to catch your attention. It's usually going to be something quick, fast, something that is trendy, something that is alarming, something that is exciting. And you may click on it. And once you get in there, it has absolutely nothing to do with what's on the outside, right? Or it is like super extreme information that's on the inside. So then when you get inside, this is where the propaganda kind of like unfolds. I feel like clickbait is the introduction to possible propaganda because there are ways of using very extreme clickbait. Now we have done it as well, but there are ways of doing it where it is still aligned with what you're speaking about, right? So, perfect example of a great video that I saw. It was like a image of like I don't know if it was like buildings or something, and then it was like a dinosaur behind it, and it's like this big dinosaur, and I'm looking at it, and it's like a title, and it's cut and paste like terribly, right? Like Photoshop, horrible, and then it says something like dinosaurs aren't real, and something 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 about buildings and lies or lies to the world, but immediately, like once I saw the imagery, I was like, oh, okay, I already know this is somebody sitting in a basement putting some weird facts together, right? And untruths, and then they're going to say whatever it is they want to say. The problem with propaganda that on that side of it, which is the more general sense of it, especially because there's so many people who still don't pay attention to politics, it what it does is it sends so much misinformation in such a quick way, and it is so easy for you to remember, and that's what's terrifying about propaganda packaging because it's usually something very quick, fast, dirty. It's quick, fast, and dirty. That's what propaganda is: quick, fast, and dirty. um the alarming thing that's happening is I don't even know if we can call what's happening now propaganda. I think we have to call it lying. I'm not sure we can call it propaganda anymore. But that's just how I feel about it. I think that if we even use that terminology right now, that may even be dangerous. That we may have to start calling things what they are.
Well, that's the difference. Propaganda, it's got quick, fast, dirty tactics, but it's the long game.
Right.
It's the planned effort at saying, this is what we're going to say, then this is what we're going to show, and then this is what we meant, and it's all different. um,
It's a fact check. A fact checker's worst nightmare is
I
propaganda.
think fact checking right now
Mm,
is should be at the top priority of everything going on. Like,
They're exhausted.
um, journalists, genuine journalists are exhausted because
They look
a
exhausted.
lot of these people, like, they do swear the oath to like uphold the truth and inform and give the right information. But the way that what we have been seeing in the politics, specifically, and we're going to just get right into it, specifically from the Trump administration. All right. We don't like to say this word on the channel because it's a dirty word. It's a five-letter dirty word. Okay. Um, but I had to count, make sure.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I mean, I don't want to
so
talk.
what we're seeing,
I tell y'all every
it's
episode I don't want to talk about him,
it's
but
it's it's hard for us
I
not
don't know
to
how we
use
gonna.
it as an example of showing like how disinformation is gives just misinformed so many people. It's ridiculous. Like, I am not a Democrat. I am not a Republican. I do not agree with having a two-party system that is a funnel pyramid scheme.
Facts.
Okay? So politically, I I really sit in my own category. I don't
You're a
sit in
free
the
thinker.
middle.
We call those the free thinkers.
Yeah, they call us independents.
Nah, I'm not. That I ain't with that either. I'm not with none of the political. None of that.
Like, I'm not with anybody's side. I'm with the best person or
Yeah,
persons that
you
I
can
see,
be just throw
that
all
I
the
deem.
humans that want to run into a pot and just throw them out there and be like, "These are who's running for president." Okay,
Let me see. Okay,
what's up?
what you got to say? What can you? Because
But can I say
it's
something?
not really.
Let me say something. So about Trump, what what is I have to stay focused. What is hard to watch has been the news. I specifically watch all types of news from all aspects on all sides because I would like to see what's happening and I like to see how people are moving. Trump's biggest supporter, Republicans' biggest supporter has been Fox News. Everybody knows that. I have never seen people so um stressed and disappointed that they could no longer appease him. And they had to start speaking facts and speaking against some of the things he was speaking about because they were just flat out lies, especially when it came to the pandemic, especially when it comes to some of the things that he is attaching to Biden and Harris. There and then some of the things come out of his mouth, they just couldn't support it, and they've had to speak out against him. Like, we cannot align with you right now because you going beyond the party now. You know, you're going into hate land. You somewhere else. We not where you at. I have never seen so many Republican Congress people, just other types of politicians, lawyers, judges, like, have to step away from their party disappointed because they know it doesn't represent their party. um it is really alarming to see. Like, I watch CNN, it's alarming to see these anchors, they're exhausted. The fact checkers are exhausted. The fact checker literally said that the first night of the RNC, the Republican National Convention, was the largest. It literally outdid all 3 nights of the DNC. The first night. They literally said Eric Eric Trump Eric Trump which wait, is that Eric? Which one's the one with the dark hair? Which one's the one that was screaming at us the first night?
Yeah, Junior.
Oh,
Don.
that's Trump. That's Donald. That's Don Jr.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, Eric is the slow one
yeah.
that was pleading to his father the whole night. Daddy, please hear me. I miss you. I want to work with you. It was rough. It was rough to watch. So Don Jr. got up there and screamed at us, and he was very angry, and it was very alarming, and his face was alarming, and his eyes were wet, and it was just really hard to watch. And they said in his speech alone, he has so many lies because this is what's happening. They see these things and these tactics happen in the campaign runnings, like when you're running in the campaign in the beginning, right? By the time we get to this point, you are usually supposed to move with a little more integrity. You're supposed to be speaking about your platform. What you are not supposed to be doing is shifting your entire platform, stealing the platform of the other side, and painting the picture of the current America, but somehow saying that's exactly what the other side is about to do. This is what I heard. This is what CNN is pissed about. This is what news places are like. They just don't know what to do with the information because it was so mm, oh my god, like in the way they said it, if you are a full supporter of them and have never watched any other side of anything, no other perspective, you are going to believe these things. And it's so scary because you could literally look it up in 5 seconds and dismantle that. You can fact check these things very quickly.
Well, that goes back to how they're using this as a campaign strategy, and that because fake news isn't old, and I think that that's where we need to start. Like we need to go back and understand like the history a little bit of fake
Oh yeah,
news,
no, it's not. It's
and
oh,
really start to really show how this is more than fake news and what we would consider yellow journalism or things like that. So let's do this. Let's take a break so that we can
already.
yeah, 20
Wait,
minutes.
I want to address this comment. Um,
Oh, we have a comment? I
yes,
didn't see it. That's
mommy
why I'll
left
take
a
a break.
comment. Mommy left a comment. There are no words yet. There are so many allies fighting with their families. They are faced with racism in their families comes to light. And that's what the propaganda is actually hurting the most that I have seen is people having to battle their families trying to speak truth and they think they know the truth and that's all they're seeing and they're having to literally show them the flip side of the propaganda. Um so you're right, and that is the other part that's been very hard to watch. Those are the major crumblings that I've seen come from this particular time of propaganda. But
Oh, that's big. I mean, because I ran into when I was down at the march on Washington, and we were interviewing someone that we had a little situation. So we were pausing, and some people were helping us because the young lady had like heat exhaustion. So they came over, they were helping her, and the one lady was talking about her grandmother and asked her boyfriend, and these were white people, and she asked her boyfriend, "Hey, did my grandmother respond to any of the snapshots or anything yet?" Da, da, da. He's like, "No," and she was like, "Ha ha ha!" And she looks up at me, and she's like, "She's gonna be pissed," ha ha ha, and she's laughing because, and begins to explain how she's the oddball, and it's only like her and a couple of her cousins who are like, no, this is real. We need to support these movements. We need to support change in these areas. And the rest of her family's like, no, they are super racist. Like she's like blatantly saying they are racist. They believe this particular type of information. They believe when Donald Trump speaks that he's speaking the truth.
mm-hmm,
They believe that people who are a part of his camp, when they say something, that is the truth, and that goes to the first time I'm saying it. Cognitive dissonance. I had to warn you first. 'Cause I took me 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 3 minutes to say it, but it's cognitive dissonance.
He's been saying this word ever. It's my
Okay.
fault. It's my fault. I shouldn't have let him watch this show that we were watching. It's a great show.
I didn't get it from that though. I
Yeah,
got it from my
that's
studies.
you
That's the
said
first time. No, dissonant. We were talking about that in the show because they
word.
were using it for a certain else. But cognitive dissonance, I got from when I was studying in my little course and I was doing some research, and then I learned something, and I was like, "This is it. What it is people are not. They just used to following one way, like." What we learn in media school and film school, journalism, all of these things where we deal with media, one thing that we have to learn about is the news and information, how it's spread. So we learned that up till the internet and things like that, really up until there were stages of how trusted information was given to the population. And people
Hmm.
got used to this trusted information. But as it
Hmm.
broadens, as the trusted sources broaden, and you get more varieties of sources, you realize that some of these sources aren't to be trusted
Facts.
or should be trusted more than others. And
Right.
so regulations and certain things are supposed to be in place, like journalists try to have multiple sources or at least be credible. That's why they build careers on providing credible, truthful information so that they can be trusted when they say something that this is the fact. So fake news comes in and it has all of these people who have been practicing to use trusted information running around in circles like we can't keep track of what is right and what is wrong because there's a lot of wrong and it'll be a little right over here. And it'll be like they're trying to pick out the right, but the wrong is overwhelming it. And people that are their cognitive dissonance has them like, I take my information from this and when they say that, that's what I believe.
I just don't understand how you never evolve from that. Though, like there is no way in the world that I could think exactly the same way that I thought when I was young, like when I was growing up and learning. There's no possible human way that I could not evolve from that. There's too many things that happened to me for me to not evolve from that. There's just too many, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what the reality of it. There are too many things that I have experienced in life for me to even believe more than half the things that I was raised to believe. More than half the things that I was taught, I had to go unlearn myself and then relearn it and then unlearn it and then relearn it again just because of life.
Mhm.
So how do you even stay in a space where you never shift?
Because they don't have to. And the reason why it's based in a systemic racist mindset, and they're the main ones that are like that, people who can be racist even, are
Mm.
the main ones who are cognitively dissonant, is because, and that's their condition, cognitively dissonant. That's from the show. I told you I'm gonna use it 1,000 times today. um, they are stuck.
I
Like
mean,
how when we talk about people, they get stuck in the era.
yeah,
That's cognitive dissonance.
right,
Being stuck in the 80s or 70s, like you can't believe that things are different than what they were.
right,
So you still like that, and
right.
it's I don't know how the reason I want to say it's in the systemic system is because if you're good, most of the people who are like that, and there's some that aren't in that, but are like, well, we got what we got going on, and this is okay for us, and we are okay with doing things like this,
Yeah.
and things work for us. You know, we in our own town, we got our people, everything's good for us because they got the complexion for the protection of the collection. So there's it don't, you know what I'm saying? That's your man Paul Mooney. I ain't make that up. You know what I'm saying? I gotta
I know that.
give a shout out for y'all that don't know. He say
I
that
love
anyone like
Paul.
Paul Mooney, gotta go watch that man comedy. He's a funny guy. He's gonna hurt your heart if you ain't strong. No white people. I'm
Do
telling
not watch him if you ain't strong.
you. Shit,
Yeah,
black people don't watch him. If
do
you're not
not
strong,
watch
I'm
Paul
trying to
Mooney.
tell
He's
you,
so
Paul Mooney
strong
boy.
out. Yeah, don't do it.
Woo!
Don't do it.
Matter of fact, what the heck is he saying today? Oh man, look at that. And on that note, we're gonna make y'all do some research on Paul Mooney. We're gonna come back with some more fake news facts and the unicorn
So
and the
yeah,
future.
we're trying something new. So
Something new. We're gonna have some brands to put up soon. I don't have none, but you know,
yeah.
something. For now, it's just us. So we'll be back in about 1 minute. It's not a long break. It's just so that we can space out our talks. Dun, 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 dun. I'm gonna remove you. All right. Oh my gosh, back at it again in the kitchen with it. Look at it. You over there now. You on that side now, so I can look like this, and then you look like you over there.
You're fine.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I had to. We're just trying to do. You're right about that, mommy. So, mommy saw talking about what we were just talking about, and she said people who never leave and stay in their same group since birth, even through experiences, these are the people that keep the same mindsets as their environment has. It never,
Mm,
never changes.
mm. That's true.
Over generations, it never changes over
That's true.
generations. So we gotta understand that and know that the reason why we're seeing a lot of this misinformation is because people just don't want to change. they don't believe that they need to change, and they don't think that changing is the right thing. They don't think
Mm,
that, because what they know is the disinformation that they're told, and they believe that to be truth. And you know, there's a history of this. Like, fake news dates back to before the printing press. It was used more of like satire and ways to kind of like play with the people. You know what I mean? We got stuff that was like, uh now there was an essay by Jonathan Swift in 1710 about the art of political lying, where he talked about what lies can do, and how falsehood flies. And this is what we're seeing, like lies, like mistruths just fly. They just go out there. The disinformation just goes out there.
right,
And once it takes heed, and the effect is done. Once the effect is done, no matter how much truth you add to that, those it just remember, this is cognitive dissonance. So they don't, they're not gonna change. They like woo woo, and then I got lies. Well, I'll take that, and your truth. No, 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 I can't take that. No, 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 no. So that was in 1710, talking about that with politics. Like, if this is done in politics, what's gonna happen is there's gonna be nobody understanding what to believe anymore. You know,
right.
and then you
Well,
have
and that is actually the problem that I'm seeing. Like, um, I'm glad that I have friends that feel comfortable enough to come and ask me questions. But I have people that just come to me and ask me if stuff is true. Like, they'll just, you know what I'm saying? Like, they'll see something and be like, "This is the information I have. Like, is it? Is this what's up? Like, is this what's happening?" And I think that's why for me it was so hard to watch the convention because I'm gonna be honest. Like, I've never watched the entire RNC before. Um, but I wanted to just do it because it was in a different platform. This is a very important year. I'm struggling because like I'm going to vote regardless, but I'm struggling because I just don't believe in the system that we have in this country in any form, in any way. I don't trust it. It's not made for us, and it's always made for us to feel less than. So it's really hard for me to continue to have to work with a system that I know is here to ultimately not protect me, but that is still the system that we have surrounding us. So, because of that, I'm voting, and because of that, I'm encouraging people to vote. But the fact that we don't even have a system in place, all these systems, right? We don't have a system in place to say the president has made these things have come out of this man's mouth. At what point do we say it's time to yank him off the table? Like, at what point is he a safety hazard? Have we not reached that point? Like, I don't know why there are no safety nets other than the idea of impeachment in that particular form, in that particular format, and it has to be these particular things. Um, I think my issue with all those systems is the same with like an EEOC or anything like that. When you file complaints against people, if you don't have a way for it to fit into the box that they have given you to choose from, then it means it's not valid. But the reality of it is that anything you do say or think or feel, if it feels hateful in any way, it's probably not the right information. That is really, if people really think like that when it comes to stuff like prejudice and racism and things like that, like, if when it comes out of your mouth, if it's not meant to make another human, a breathing thing, feel better or feel okay or feel safe or feel equal as a human, If those things that are coming out of your mouth, or those things you feel or think or feel or see, or hear from people in your family or whatever, it's just probably not the right information. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think if we think about it on that level, we could probably eliminate most things. We have so many things that we think are right or wrong, or like how do you even raise someone to say being born a certain color is wrong? You know what I'm saying? Like, the fact that you can even say that out your mouth and teach it and then feel that way and then have the generations feel that way after that is concerning to me, that there are brains that cannot comprehend that if it's something hateful, then there probably is some propaganda attached to it. Like, racism is propaganda. And it just concerns me that we don't have a shut off button for this person at this point. That he is allowed to speak, that he is allowed to have a phone, that he is allowed to say the things coming out of his mouth. And he's still the president. He is not, you are not just the Republican president. You're still the president. You know? I know I went on a tangent. I just got mad though. I got mad because I really started picturing the RNC and Matthew. That shit was disgusting. It was real hard to watch. I've never seen such hateful body language. I've never seen such nasty tones. I've never seen so many nasty things come out of people's mouths and so many lies. Like the picture they were painting of America, the America that Biden and Harris would create, is exactly the America we're in that he has created. And that is where I got lost. And then he was just smack lying. They was just all smack lying, like straight no facts.
If you want to get into that, like mommy just made a great comment. You can read that. Um,
If you don't know,
if you watch the rally in North Carolina, that's basically what he was talking about, like how all of this stuff is going on, and if it was going on, he said he almost said it as if this happens while I'm the president, like it wasn't said like that, but it was like, no, it's happening,
no, that
and you're
is.
saying what I would do with these people, what I would
Uh-huh.
do is
Yep.
arrest them and da da da.
Yeah.
Well, you ain't even do that now. And of course, we're not going for that because that's dumb.
And
You
what is this
tried it.
exactly did he say?
Um, the you have to go to the rally, but this is just an example
Mm.
because I'm not gonna paraphrase it because I don't know the paraphrasing of what he said, the exact statement, but
Don't tell me the
it's
exact.
the it's
Just
the
paraphrase it.
it's the way that he says it. Like the way that he says it comes off as if he is saying factual information and truth, and people are just like, yeah, but it's a blatant
You
lie
can
that they're
paraphrase
think
it. You can just tell them it's something along the lines, because here's the problem. People really think this stuff is not true, so they don't know it. You have to at least refer to it, because it's
no, when referring to the protests
like no, I right,
and,
right.
and
I'm saying I didn't
things like
know
that,
what about the protest. What was he saying about the protesters?
about the protests and the rioting, and that being something that basically, like, what I would do is this, that, and the third, but it's happening while you are the president. But you're saying what
Right.
I would do is
No, like his son straight
that right
sat up
there. You
there
see,
and
it's
said,
how it's said.
no,
Like, you
his
see
son
how I
straight up
just
there and
confused you
said they those people sat up there in the RNC and literally said things like, well, the world you will come to is a world that will have you will be scrambling around for money and scrambling around for jobs, and you'll be what do you say? He said something like it was some craziness like There'll be thugs in the street and riots everywhere. And I'm like, are we talking about now? Like, I'm like, what is he talking about? And he literally was trying to say that that's what's going to happen. Bruh, how you think you about to erase what's going on right now? I don't understand if you really think you about to smack just erase. You about to be like, ooh, look into my eyes. This is just a dream. This hasn't happened yet. What, bruh? What are you talking about? It's happening right now. Like, how can his followers, how can the Trumpers even question that he's swelling? I do
No,
not
because
understand.
they read the disinformation that this is happening only in cities with a Democratic mayor or governor or blah 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 blah
Some
blah.
of them live
And
outside. They in it. Some of them see it. Bro, what you talking about,
it's
son?
not just that though. That's not the so where he's doing these events and where he's gathering the people are not in any places where there's a lot of people. People are coming from all around to the towns to this place to see this guy with the pickup trucks and stuff. And like I'm talking about it like this because it's a specific demographic of people who do not want to believe anything else. I don't even understand how most of them believe that this guy is for them when he does not like you. You're
So
not
you are
wealthy.
telling me that even with the most basic news in the smallest of areas, they are not receiving news that these things have happened, even right now.
Oh
Like
no,
in
they receiving news that it happens, but the news comes at them like this, like from their source that tells them
do you know that
looters,
was a whole
looters and rioters are destroying cities across America, and it's all because of this. And Trump wants to stop them, but they won't let him. They
Mhm.
told the police, "Don't do anything. We want them because we want to burn it down." That's what they hear.
But mom, that's the other thing. Like, right, he did not win the popular vote. He became president and lost the popular vote. You're right. But the issue I have with that is that the popular vote should be the one that matters.
It should, but
I don't even
they
understand how
they
we
rigged
got
the
around.
system. The system was rigged. Even the propaganda of voting.
Hmm.
Okay, Ice Cube said something the other day that was very keen. Like he said, "Don't just go vote because somebody told you to go vote. That's
Right,
not what we asking people to do." He
right,
said, "You need to go vote with a intention to say, what are you going to do for me?" And
right.
my people in my community. When you're thinking about your local elections, you need to be going and you need to be asking these questions. You need to be looking into who can you talk to that's going to be about one of your issues. Don't matter if see, this is the thing about politics.
Matthew, they said on the RNC and actually, like some of those Congress people and the senators and stuff, they actually said up there and was like, America is not racist. They actually said that. They actually said America is not racist. Don't believe those lies. Don't believe this, and that. What? And
Oh,
spoke about Breonna Taylor and George Floyd in the same sentence.
well, look at this. Look at how they do
Nah,
this. Listen, listen how
there's
they
a
do this.
17-year-old walking around assaulting people
Listen
with
how they
an
do
assault
this.
rifle, and
America,
I don't
Corey,
understand.
Corey, America, the entity in itself, you can say that's not racist because it's an entity. It's not even. But we know that what we're talking about is that there the systems in America, the basis on which America is built was based on a system that looked down upon people of color. It was racist. Period.
Matthew, Donald Trump Jr. put out propaganda and said
I'm gonna punch
that
him in the face if I
that
ever
the
see him again.
17-year-old with the
Yeah,
assault
he's one of our peers, right?
that the 17 year
I
old
could go straight to him like, "Hey, Don, let me holler at you, cuz."
man, that the 17-year-old with the assault rifle just made a mistake, and that kids do stupid stuff all the time when they're 17. If we all got blamed for being 17 and everything we did, oh my goodness.
He
What?
did. He
So
did.
17-year-olds just walk around killing people and shooting people with assault
He
rifles.
did make a mistake. Yeah, they do. A lot of them. A lot of 17-year-olds
And
in
they get
hood
to just walk away. And they
pay
get to
time.
walk up to the cops with the assault rifle, say bye, and keep walking down the street.
No, see, this is the issue. That's
Mhm,
a whole nother issue
mhm.
that we're gonna have to talk about on a whole nother show. But I
That's
will say that
propaganda.
that's
That is
propaganda.
propaganda. In the same week, there was
That's
two
using
black men killed who did way less than he did.
that was spreading misinformation because he got some disinformation that was about what happened and the statistics of the case, and like if you review all of the investigative footage and stuff like that, he's
He
getting this
said he's gonna wait for his due process. We had a due process. What's that look like?
right because at the
Hello?
end of the day,
What does that look like?
shots in the back.
We don't have a due process. I didn't know we could
That's
do
what
one.
our due
And
process
we can
look
walk
like.
around with assault rifles. I'm gonna go get me one.
If you in a
I didn't
place
know
that
we could do
allow
that.
it,
I didn't know I could just walk up to the cops with an assault rifle. I didn't.
if you in a state that allows it, of Maryland where you live at, they don't allow it, so don't do it. You can buy one though, which you should do. You should buy a few actually. Um, Anybody got a problem with that? We don't care. Anyway, we stay scrapped. Um, so yeah, if you're in a place that is legal and you of legal age to do it,
Right.
then yes, you could do it. If I was in a state that it was legal and we had protests in March, I would just certainly go outside to protect my people with a firearm, and I would carry my rifle if I owned one of those in the state that I was living in, that I could own that and I could carry it with my sidearm, and I would look just like the other militia type looking people, walking next to my people in
Right.
front of our people so that they know that there's somebody there that's got their back. Now, the disinformation is that the young man was too young to be out there with the rifle. So for you to say anything about it being a positive, any type of action of self-defense or anything like that, first of all, if you're not gonna go somewhere, if you're not, these are the rules in our gun world. If you're not gonna go somewhere where you wouldn't go without a gun, then why would you go there? What, you see what I'm saying? If you weren't gonna go there before, don't
And I
go
ain't even
there now.
gonna say him, but I mean everything that's happening right now is straight propaganda. Like I'm not for it. Y'all not y'all not getting me. Okay? Y'all not for it. I ain't with none. I ain't with it. I ain't with it. I don't believe none
Well,
of y'all
see,
showing me right now.
that's a sector. That's a sector right there. If you can misinform the gun ho population, like, yeah, we're gonna make sure that you can go outside and just shoot people, like, and you misinform them
Right.
about the fact, you're going to get a lot of more people in trouble because that young man is in trouble. He not getting off because he was
Okay.
illegally carrying.
Okay.
That right there, that right
Don
there,
Trump Jr. said that he just made a mistake. He's 17. He just
he
did something.
did, and that's gonna fuck his whole life up
That wasn't
because
a mistake. He went outside on purpose.
that's misinformation. That's Don Jr. spreading disinformation. You see what I'm saying? The dis that's we gotta I'm pointing it out. That's a lie. It's disinformation. And it's gonna be misinformed to others. That's what he's doing because it's not gonna happen like that. He's gonna get he's gonna get
Y'all
prosecuted.
got these black men up there talking about there ain't no racism in the country. Slap yourselves. I don't care what party y'all with. Don't sit up there and lie like that. Like I just can't like I just cannot believe
Ain't
that
the
in
wild wild west yet.
that 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 they are. I just cannot. I cannot.
Oh
I have
man,
never
Trump is
seen. I've never seen a president
fine.
spew in such. Like he feels like our like Hitler. Like he kind of crazy. Like he say stuff out of his mouth, and I'm like, what did he mean to say that? Like he's Hitler, man. He's just like not as poised, I guess, as maybe he might have come off. But I mean, did he? Like he might have just threw tantrums. He was little.
Who? Who?
He little Hitler. Was he?
Hitler was a great orator. Orator. He gave some speeches. He empowered.
That's
He
what
was
I'm
a,
saying. But
he was crazy. He was a
I just
psychopath.
mean crazy. Like I don't think we've had to encounter something. This makes me feel that way. Like this makes me feel uncomfortable in that way. Like he makes me feel uncomfortable in that way. Like
Well,
it
mommy put up
used
some.
to be, I just thought he was dumb, and then he would say stuff, and he's just like a rich pompous dude. He only like rich people. Like it's so much worse than I thought it was. The hate that is coming out of his mouth for everyone else is is the grossest thing that I've ever seen on this large of a platform. Like I literally feel like the KKK is running the country right now. Like I don't like anything coming out of that party right now. The party that is following him, the Trumpers. I'm not even calling them Republicans. I feel like that's disrespectful to call them that. I feel like
Hmm.
it's disrespectful to call Trumpers Republicans. That's why I'm calling them Trumpers.
Hmm.
Oh Lord, her and Little House on the Prairie. So my mother has been watching Little House on the Prairie, y'all. Okay, every day she watches Little House on the Prairie. But let me tell y'all something. Every day she got something that aligns with something that's going on right now. I'm trying to tell y'all, if you watch stuff like Little House on the Prairie or Roots or anything about the '60s or anything about slavery, it's all gonna resonate right now. Great time to go binge. Um, Yeah, Matthew, I'm having a hard, this is a hard discussion for me. I want to talk more about the propaganda, but I'm just like so disgusted by what has been created. I don't know. I don't know how you would ever get those people to see any other way.
I don't either. Like I honestly, I get lost for words when it comes down to how much misleading information is put out. Like, um,
The pandemic is a great example of
let's just put
propaganda.
it like this: like,
The coronavirus is a great example of that.
there's already been 20,000 plus actually certified false or misleading statements or pieces of information given out.
How much?
20,000.
Like what you
20,000
mean, like facts
lies
that were given as facts?
that were just stated, period.
That's a lot.
Yeah. He lies.
Those are separate lies.
Like,
You're
so,
telling me though that amount is separate lies, or how many he's told the time? I mean, like how many times he said the lies?
no, those are separate ones. Those are each separate ones.
Matthew, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of lies. How does one person lie that much?
Yeah. Like, let's just,
Yeah, the racism protests absolutely. They blame that on Democratic propaganda. That has nothing to do with
that's the
parties
biggest,
at all.
that's the
That and the
biggest,
COVID are the biggest propagandas right now.
that's the biggest misinformation being spread right now is that the Democrats have something to do with the problems that are going on, the protests that are going on. Like, no, you're the fucking administration, you're the party that's in charge
Right,
that right now has been in charge that can do something about these things, that could stand up and say something and cause some action to trickle downhill.
right.
But no, you're like, we support the police. We don't support people against the police. We support the killers. We don't support the killed. We support anybody who is stupid, and we don't support smart people.
But it's also like the same with the COVID and the mask. It's like if you're a Republican, don't wear your mask. If you're a Democrat, put your mask on. It's like they're literally like I don't know. The doctors are baffled. They're like, how did this become a political thing? I have never seen a pandemic become a political party issue.
Listen, you got the
It's
you got
dangerous as hell.
you got a person that took the best advantage of the media outlets that are available right now that reach the masses. Like, social media has created something that, like, this video is going on all of our platforms right now, which, if we put in the money to market it, could get millions of views just by putting the money out to market it to millions and millions of people. Just you and I in our houses separately making this. This is a
Right.
precedence in political times that we have to now be very strict about how we judge this. Like, there's things being talked about social media, conglomerates, really, companies and organizations really having to dial in on getting a hold of misleading and just false information. The thing I got is, like, there's got to be more facts out
Hmm.
that can be spread. There just needs to be more facts. And people need to also be put in their place too. I'm tired of dummies. I'm just going to call them that.
Now the crazy
Tired
part
of
is
dummies.
the way that you just said dummies. I just immediately had a image in my head of what most people would think you were referring to in any way, and I'm thinking of the complete opposite people.
Yeah, because dummies look smart. Dummies are successful.
So great
Okay. These,
example:
like
Candace Owens versus Cardi B.
dummy versus a smart person. And
Most
which one is the
people
smart
think that
person? Which
Cardi
one is
B
the
is
dummy?
not the smart person because of her dialect, because of who she is, because of her background, because of the job she's done, because of the type of artist she is, because of how she speaks, whatever it is. And everybody wants to think that Candace Owens knows what she's talking about, but she's spewing super hateful things about this woman because she wants to speak on politics. But here's what I'm saying. I would prefer if someone who has had and dealt with a real life, who does with real life things. I don't care how extra they are, because they are talking to real life people. They're talking to people who are going through it, people who are the ones who need to vote, the ones who probably aren't voting, and they need somebody to talk to them on their level so they understand, somebody that's real, somebody that understands the struggle.
Mhm. Somebody that's actually experienced some of these systems that we are speaking about, that know people
Sometimes
who are
she
in
experienced them both.
right, and now can say, I've experienced it here, and now I've moved to this level and I see it on a different level. And we disregard people's level of intellect. We think, like, this is even, and it's a black community thing more
Mhm.
than anything. And we're
Mhm.
going to talk about y'all now. Yeah, melanated intellectuals, the
Mhm.
scholars and the bougie
Mhm.
wajiks. Listen, you guys can go kick rocks sometimes,
'Cause
okay?
y'all had the worst
Because
propaganda.
you facilitate this environment that everyone has to speak with the proper language and must talk in a way that is acceptable to the whites
And
for
you
them
must
to be
dress the
intelligent.
proper way.
That is that is
You must dress the
conditioning.
proper way
Yeah, that's
to be
conditioning.
heard.
through the white system,
Yep.
the systemic racist system for us to
But
survive.
why are
But
we
guess
doing that
what?
to each other? Why we gotta talk to each other that way?
You know what they consider when somebody tried to go into a place that was kind of business like, and you were casual and you had on something, they were like, "Oh, you're trying to be one of those Silicon Valley people." This was back in the day. Are you trying to be you think you're a rich white boy or whatever? Like, because they could do that. They showed up any kind of way and was like, "We just have this product. We have this great thing. We have this great thing, and we have to put it on a three-piece suit and come in with PowerPoint presentation and all this stuff just to
Right.
be seen,
Right.
not heard, just to be seen. Oh, we see y'all."
Right.
And have to do so much extra.
Right.
So that is a problem. And this whole thing that Candace Owens, Cardi B, this is a perfect
Ugh.
example
I don't
because
know if you
the
actually
elders,
heard what
we
she
have
said. I mean,
elders,
she's just so foul.
we have elders that will say, yes, we can't. Like, they would look at Cardi B and think she's not intelligent. And I'm talking about elders who are not intelligent.
Mm-hmm. Facts. All facts.
Let's keep it all the way 100. If I know a little bit about Cardi B, I know that she was a high intellectual student in school, graduated from high school with a high GPA point average, could have went to college, did all. She chose not to. She chose to do the stuff she chose to do. She talk about it all the time. And that's why she
I
has
respect that.
the personality and demeanor that she has, but she always was going to try to
You
be
don't
a
even have to be
business.
a fan.
Right.
That's what
So
I tell people all
this
the time. You don't
whole
have to be a fan to respect people.
right. But that's our own people spreading misinformation. Oh, she's this, that, and the third, so she can't be trusted. Why? Why can't she be
Wouldn't you
trusted?
prefer to hear that information from somebody like her than somebody who spews hate like a Candace Owens?
Right.
Who hate
Who,
their own stuff. She gets up in the mirror every day and wants to throw up.
who
Every day she
support
looks at herself like,
who
"Ugh."
supports systemic racist systems and their ideologies? Because, like I said, all of these political parties that we have right now are ideologies. These
Mhm.
are not true political organizations that are for helping to, you know, create a funnel, because we do need to funnel our candidates in some way, but to
Sure.
have an ideology that you just blindly follow, it's like, right, mommy's talking about Jesus walked among the people, like,
I mean,
people
Kanye is
blindly.
intelligent, but I would rather him sit his ass down. You hear me?
Mhm. And this is the point, you don't have to be a scholar a
That's funny.
scholar
Mommy
to
gave the
be
same example
intelligent.
I gave you in the conversation. That was funny.
What?
When we had the conversation on the phone, mommy just gave the exact same example that I gave you on the phone when we were having this conversation.
Oh yeah, that's why I said that just now.
Because that's my mother, and my mother raised me. So sometimes I know stuff, and we say,
Hey, what she said was Jesus walked among the people no matter their status in life. He was criticized for that. Yes. Because the people who think they all this, that, and the third, they don't want you to hang out with the
I'd
low.
rather hang out with the prostitute than the Candace Owens. Candace Owens can't come to my cookout ever. You
Thank
could,
you.
you couldn't pay
Woman
me.
at the well, brother. Thank you.
You couldn't pay me to invite her to the cookout. You tell me you bring Candace Owens, you can't come to the cookout. You banned. I'd be like, why would you even think you could bring her here?
I just tell her she can't talk.
At
Like, she can
all.
say hello.
At all. She cannot speak. If Cardi B was standing in front of me and Candace Owens is not coming to the cookout. Cardi B
Like,
smack coming in. Was
I'll be like, tell your man to go get you a plate and you gotta wait outside. No, we're gonna feed you because you know that's what we do. We black. We gonna make
oh
sure
yeah,
you
you go home with a plate.
you gonna get a plate, you gonna eat, you know what I'm saying? We can't the aunties ain't gonna let you, but you can't come
But
inside.
also know that I snuck a photo of you on live right now. And I'm like, this Joe thought she was getting in the cookout. Kamala gonna be over there like, she thought she was getting in the cookout. You're not supposed to talk over here, remember? You're not talking yet. You just supposed to sit there and eat your food, okay?
That was funny though.
It was cute.
That
So
was cute. Keep
maybe
it up.
maybe you can get your 2 cents. Mate.
Point, point, two
Point.
points.
You can't
Two
play
points.
spades yet, okay?
We watching you. You here because we got to keep an eye on you.
Right. Can't as long as you outside. Not allowed.
Yeah. Mm.
Ew. Go
You
hang
lucky
out.
because Herschel Walker used to have a plate all the time. He can't even get a plate. He made a lot of old people mad. They like this
Oh.
motherfucker. They said this cool. I don't even. I'm calling it what it is. Dummies.
What did he
All right.
say?
Herschel Walker was on the RNC. That's all
Yeah,
I
he
need to say
was.
right there.
He was on the RNC.
That's all we need to say right there.
I forgot.
Dummy, dummy, dumb. See, the problem is we have a lot. This is why I go to the ideology part
Or
about this.
mommy, she could come to the cookout in the COVID area. I just tell everybody don't wear their mask.
Hmm?
She said she
That
can't come
didn't
to
even
the
make sense.
cookout, especially in the COVID era.
Oh yeah, cause she got COVID, cause she don't believe in that shit. Yee.
Mm,
So yeah.
I don't know, man. The propaganda is so large right now. I don't even know where to like. Usually we got like one or two things we could talk about. Like it's the overall situation. It's propaganda. It's just like it's so much being used. It's the entire campaign. It's the basis of the entire campaign.
Well, the problem that I'm having with it is that we got some people talking. Jewel talking on the Facebook. Uh,
A couple people popped on. I didn't see nobody talking. Yeah.
Candace Owens is so not inviting.
Yes, at all. At all, Drew. At
Jewel is
all.
hilarious. Hey, nah,
We
but
got
that's
her to go
real.
play with a person with a mask on standing outside like here's your to go play. Bye. Bye.
Right.
Like, mm-mm.
Because
Mm.
we was taught not to hate.
Yeah, so I still gotta be courteous. You knew about the cookout, so I guess.
Right.
But
Like,
no, I don't know. It's just it was scary to see those black people in there. It was scary to see the Indian people in there. It was scary to see the Asian people in there. It was scary
well,
to
this is the ideological part of the bull crap in politics, is that people who believe that they're successful, they want to be successful, they want to be in business and all this other stuff. They say I'm a conservative. I gotta, and they want money and they're driven by capitalism and things like that. So they push themselves into the ideological capitalistic mindset, and that pushes them to the Republican side because they believe for some reason that they are they're greater than the Democrat side on pushing capitalistic policies. Both sides push capitalism because we are America, capitalistic country. Period. That doesn't it splits the board, you know. Um, so they try to align with that, and they just stick to it. They don't care about the other the other things. Like I get it. Like 45 is a time is a place in time. Like even if God forbid the
45 is a place and
yeah,
time.
even if God forbid the idiot was to win a second term, it's only for another period of time and then it's over. Like it'll never be again. Like it can't be again. You understand? Like now the damage that is done during that time frame is
Right,
significant to many generations of people. And that's what we have to look at. The reason why people are mad at Kamala Harris and people was because she came up at the end of the Clinton administration, which
mhm.
was fighting against the end of they were putting an end to the crack era.
Right, right,
And
right.
their whole agenda was a certain type of law enforcement for that particular reason because of the crack era.
Right, right,
Because of that, generations later, as she's trying to progress and has grown,
right,
now yes, we question her, we look at her with the side eye, we put her under a microscope and we
right,
watch her because generations were affected by your actions then.
Right,
And
right,
that's how we're looking at this, that
right.
generations are affected by what's happening now. And to
So the
bring
only thing I want to say is the only reason we're holding her accountable is here's the reason. I said this to you the other day. We hold our community accountable and on a higher standard, because the reality of it is that we feel safe to do that. We feel safe to question our own people. We
because
feel
they do
Wait, hey man,
everybody does that with their
wait,
people.
wait. We feel safe to rob our own people. We feel safe to kill our own people. We feel safe to question our own. Because the reality of it is that we know what those consequences are. What consequences we don't like are the consequences of white people when we do those things. There is a whole psycho like dynamic with this. You know what I'm saying? Like it is there is a reason that we're not gonna walk around questioning Biden because he's a white man. We might not get no answers. We know that we may be able to pull some people out of the hat that can question her differently. You know what I'm saying? So the reality of it is that we're never gonna hold white people accountable for anything. Because for what? Why are we wasting our time?
No, that's what they are supposed to do. That's why we're pushing on them. We're like all these people who mad at they grandmother, they aunt, y'all people got to fight them, and you got to either teach them or get rid of them because it's generational problems to spark up
I will say this after watching.
generational things with kids now that like have to deal with this. Like we're trying to eradicate this systemic racism. We're trying to eradicate the mindset of racism and to bring it back into a full, like, to grow it in a way behind the guise of an ideology of a person who speaks lies is like, poof, it's blowing my mind that we're even seeing something like that happen right now.
Yeah, I mean, the reality of it is that so I took, this I took the last week and the week before that, a couple weeks, and I binged all the seasons of Snowfall. So, watching that development from Coke into the crack era, and watching the government move and watching people move and watching the neighborhood shift, and um like I try to explain to people, like, I'm going to question you regardless because everybody chooses what they do. Everybody makes a choice. Everybody chooses the path. I don't care what your end result is. Everybody makes a choice. But I am going to ask you about your choice because after watching that, you couldn't ignore the epidemic we were in as a people, as a country. And people may not have always known the right way to get into the system. People may not have known how they were going to go in and help. People may have been just trying to survive in that era, and people had to make a lot of decisions that could be selfish, um, and led astray, and all types of things. So I'm a little more for after really watching that. I feel a little more forgiving for some things, but um but the more that I watch the president speak, like I just like it just don't really matter to me. Like I understand that we're in a system that we have to have a president for right now until that is dismantled and shifted and changed and rerouted or whatever. And because of that, we have to vote because this man is dangerous. He's dangerous. And he's been dangerous from the beginning, since he's opened his mouth and has ever been in a paper or an article, and it's been like that from the beginning. We should have never allowed it to happen.
Mhm.
And I feel sad when I try to convince people to vote because I understand the importance, but I understand why they don't want to either.
Right. And I think that's going to be important. I think we need to discuss how the RNC
Mm.
Um, really, because I want to go back to that and the rallies and things like that are perpetuating um,
Ugh.
disinformation
My
at
God.
its greatest. We're going to take a break
Yes.
and we'll be back in about 2 minutes. And
All
everybody,
right.
get you some water, use the restroom, you know what I'm saying?
Let's give
Chill out
everybody
for a
5
second.
minutes. You have to walk to the bathroom.
Right. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna take 5 on it. Like my man Big G, you know what I'm talking about? 10 for 10, not for wine, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna take a little break. uh, I still don't understand what that means, 10 for 10. But that's my man. I love those guys. All right. We'll be back in a few. See you soon.
Can't hear you.
You can hear me. It's like, nah.
Uh,
And we are back. So, uh, so let's talk about disinformation that is been propagated by the Trump administration, by Trump himself, and and spread and misinforming all of the people who side with that ideology and believe what they're saying. So at the RNC,
mhm,
he made claims that he built the greatest and strongest economy ever,
mhm,
but it's grown faster and more jobs under all the other presidents, many other presidents. He claimed that Biden pledged a $4 trillion tax hike on almost all American families, and that was false.
mhm.
Biden said he won't boost income taxes for anyone making less than $400,000. That is only like 20, no, like 17%, 18% of the population. That's it. 18% of the population. That's it. Um,
He said some wild stuff about the pandemic too, and I don't know those facts.
oh, I have those right here as well. Let's talk about his restrictions on flights into the US from China and Europe as a travel ban. He falsely claimed the policies were put in place very early. First of all, it wasn't a travel ban, they were restrictions. Um, and all the government officials say that the restrictions were too late to mitigate the introduction of the virus. Um, um, Trump reported that we tested more than any other country, but the US has done far fewer tests per confirmed cases than many other countries. And these are just facts that I'm reading here from facts. Uh, what else? He, of course, the array of treatments that are false. He, he said that. But let's talk about the travel again. So they found out the information, and we're now finding out that he knew a lot sooner and
That was
downplayed the information.
Como on CNN was pissed about that one right.
So we also know that the travel restrictions were put in there. Okay, so there's misinformation going around that he put in travel restrictions in January,
Okay.
and that he put in the travel ban. This is the misinformation. See, misinformation is like the telephone game. The disinformation is that he put in a travel ban, and
Huh?
that it stopped people from coming in from as early as possible.
In January?
That's the misinformation. The misinformation going around that I've seen, that I was arguing with somebody
I've
about, was
never
that
seen it.
he
Okay.
put like oh, here he goes. It says it right here. The misleading statements about his decision on January 31st.
Mm-mm.
January 31st to impose travel restrictions
What?
related to the coronavirus.
We didn't even get
Uh,
shut down till March.
right. The real shutdown of travel didn't happen to the end of February. February, let's find the date. 29th. Effective restrictions started effective February 2nd. So this means that there were restrictions,
Did
but people
anybody know
but
about
there
that?
was still travel from those places, but there were restrictions from Wuhan and other places, but the rest of the places it was open.
Oh,
Europe it was open.
right.
On the 29th, he expanded those restrictions to Iran and other countries, but it wasn't until about March 5th he closed down the borders completely. and
Mhm.
said no flights in or out.
But he basically admitted to us that he knew about all of the severity of this is since January.
So what happened on March 5th, people are saying happened on January 31st.
Lies, straight lies, and we
Now,
living it. We living it.
is it only about 40
We are
days?
living in
Yes,
it,
but it's a big 40 days.
Matt. But we
It's a
are
big
living in
from
it. It was not happening in January. It was not happening in February. I was partying on my birthday.
right.
We got shut
Right.
down in March.
We got shut down in March. We got shut down in March.
How dare he?
We knew about the travel ban because there was a lot of my shows and conferences had people coming from across the waters who could not
Matt,
come.
people could prove that things were happening in January because you could literally just go on social media and look at anyone's January,
But that's what I'm telling you. Like,
anyone's
this is
February.
a literal Facebook post that I had from a
Wow,
Facebook person that I follow that
wow.
has many followers, that people that believe this, that
Okay,
spread this misinformation,
okay.
that said the travel ban, which it was not, went into place in January.
That is
But
a
the
lie.
true, if there was a ban when the borders were shut, was March 5th.
Right. That's what I know. That's what I for sure know.
So this is how the they mess it up. And all of this, when we talk about the RNC, when we talk about the rally, etc., all of that
None of that should have
false
been wrapped up in politics, though.
statements, false statements.
None of that should have been wrapped up in politics. That was my problem. None of this talk should have been wrapped up in politics. I don't even understand how it became a thing where it's like where Trumpers feel like they are actually going to disrespect their candidate and their president because they want to save themselves from dying and getting people sick and getting themselves sick. I just don't understand. Like, why would that? Why would that even be? Why would that even make any sense? Why wouldn't you be pissed that there are people that have died and been sick and gotten sick and been pissed that this man didn't tell you? So y'all trying to tell me y'all still ain't pissed after y'all found out he knew how severe it was in January? Y'all still not mad? You know he admitted that. Like, how do they feel right now? That's
No,
what.
that's good. That look at what is being said about it. We can look right now and see what's being said about that right now.
Because how do you
Uh,
feel about your president caring more about his reputation, his ego, himself, than to care about your family and your friends and yourself being harmed? I just don't understand what the hell is wrong with people. It's basically about voting against him. That's what it's about. It's all voting against him. You know what I'm saying? It ain't even about voting for somebody. It's about voting against him.
mhm.
Like putting in a vote against him is putting in a vote for some, for Biden and Harris, who are the only real candidates at this point that can actually win. So the reality of it is that you're voting against him. If you don't put in no vote, that means you're saying it's okay if he gets in. That means
Check
you're
out.
saying it's okay if he gets in, Slim. That's where I'm at. If you vote, if you don't vote, you're saying it's okay if he wins. You're giving him an opportunity to even get to step foot in that place again for 4 more years. We ain't gonna survive 4 more years of him. We're not gonna survive that, Matthew. Like we're not gonna survive that. Not that.
Because nothing will stop. Nothing will stop. None of the things that they're saying are happening that will will that are being caused by whoever they're blaming, that's not going to stop.
Right.
It's only going to stop when they're gone, when he's gone. People don't understand that we want to try again. We want to see, can we try something new? Can we start over? Okay, we won't do this. Like we do it every time. Like, huh? Are you working for us? When you work for us, we stop walking around in the streets. But when you're not working for us, we walk around in the streets.
Right.
That's our only way to let you know that we're not happy with your job and that you're under threat of termination.
Hmm.
We can't bring you into the office and say, "Hey, we've been looking at your work and we've noticed that you haven't been as productive as you should have been, and what we, we're going to put you under probation, and we want to see your productivity improve, and we want to make sure." I thought we did that. That he was impeached. Thought, okay, now they serious about that, but no, 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 and then that makes that look like a sham, because it's like, okay, so you found guilty of something, and then like you still think that you supposed to be able to be the president, but you a liar.
Like,
Like,
yeah, like you're a straight liar. I've never in my life seen no shit like this. I swear to God. I ain't never thought we would have to deal with these type of shenanigans. Like, it's just so unprofessional. It's just so unprofessional. Like, it's not even professional. Like, he's OC. 2 days before Twitter. That man's wild. Like the whole thing, the whole propaganda with the mail in ballots is crazy. Like that's some crazy propaganda. First of all, sir, you were tainting with the mail in ballots that we have already done. You already tainted with that. My friends went up there trying to vote, and they talking about your vote was already casted and sent in and mailed in. They never received it in the mail. What are you talking about? That's why they was up there. What are you talking about? What do you mean? And he worrying about mail-in Jones, but he out here playing the shenanigans. He the one. Everything he's doing is to like help him do what he's already doing. He keeps making it seem like the other side is threatening to do these things and they're behind it. He's literally the one asking for it. He's literally the one talking about it. This is where I get confused. The things that he said in the RNC were not the things that he's been saying the whole time.
hmm
So at what point did his sheep go, well, what you talking about? That's not what we following. We out here doing this, and this. And then like to even I have never seen a political party at this stage of the game like straight up just be like, this is a socialist utopia. Like he's a socialist. He believes in this. He's going to defund the police. Like these are literally things he said he's not gonna do. Like how are y'all up here? Say all this crazy stuff about what he did and did not believe in God and like all like yo. He just makes up stuff and then says it out his mouth, literally in front of people in that moment, right there. The fact that he is still calling it the China virus makes me want to throw up.
hmm.
The fact that he can even jokingly call it anything and racistly call it things.
Right. We're supposed to be a country better than that.
The China man virus?
That's the thing that bothers me. Is like we're supposed to be way better than that. We're
A
supposed to
China man?
be able to like n- say things in a way that doesn't offend anyone, but can outline like
supposed to be a
the true.
melting pot of religions and beliefs and color and background and cultures. And you sitting up here talking about it's cool, white power is awesome, and all these black people is thieves and thugs, and all the protests are riots, and
Right.
I'm
I mean, that goes back to the system. The fact that you have to prove that you're even like some type of Christian to like get people to like
bro, you
to
ain't
have.
set foot in a church. You stood your little ass in front of a church for a photo op and bombed a whole bunch of kids with pepper spray and pepper bombs and bullets and rubber bullets and whatever else the hell you had out there, hurting people who were fucking chilling, peacefully protesting, stood up there for a photo op in front of a church you ain't never stepped foot in and held a Bible up. Did everybody forget about that? I didn't forget about it.
But the fact that you even can try to like that means something. The fact that your religious beliefs in this country mean like dictate that you can be a good leader or not. Like if you're not with the that's stupid to me because we're not supposed to be that country. But there's a lot of people in this country that believe no, we are a Christian country. We
This
believe we
hateful, crazy man is running against a man that took a train to work every day. His wife and baby died. The man raised his boys.
son
Got
died
no, his
too.
wife's daughter died, and then his son died. I mean,
Right.
he
That's
met
what I'm
his
saying.
wife. He met his wife, and then later his son died. And it's like, and this man is still trying to be the president of the United States.
Come on.
I would have went to sleep. I would have been like, night night world. Y'all don't see me nowhere. I'm out.
Then
He was
you
a
got
whole vice president.
don't get some people talking about that. They're gonna be like, "Yeah, those were the sacrifices you had to make to you had to spread the blood of the
He gonna
suck."
sacrifice his whole wife and baby? No, lies. Not to be the vice president and the president lies.
All of them, right?
For this trash country. Stop it. Trash. It's garbage.
But that's what they would say. That's more propaganda. That's just more people trying to mislead people. That's a whole nother faction. We know who those people are. The conspiracy theorists of the highest caliber. They believe in everything dumb. Some should be good shit.
Oh, this
Like,
shit the American nightmare, nigga. It's not the American dream. It's the American nightmare. Come on over to the American nightmare.
but that's what's scaring people. We got
Where
like
all your nightmares come true.
if we were honest and we were like,
Where your
okay,
president is actually a
we
dictator.
need to we need to reevaluate our um whole system of employment and immigration and things like that. We like if we raise wages, we would lose the need for cheap labor. We would lose the need to like have people even worried about their jobs in
Mhm.
certain places, like because they would be okay and they would be able to get a job that can pay the bills no
Right.
matter what job it was. You understand? So this is the issue. It really becomes an issue of like if everybody could just afford to get a job,
Mhm.
then and the job paid the bills effectively, then the whole that nobody would really talk about people are coming here to steal their jobs, et cetera, because there would be more businesses being created, more jobs needing to be done, and everybody would be getting paid a decent wage. See, that's the part that we never get at. It's the fact that people are without so much, so they
Right.
need a second job.
Mhm.
So they first job they make enough, and it's a pretty decent job. They probably got a skill or something decent, right? But then they may need to go work in the restaurant and do something over there on the side, but they can't because there's cheaper labor in there. You see what I'm saying? Or they may want to have something on the weekends or something like that, but it's cheaper labor for these, you know. all different types of scenarios I'm thinking about, but these different ways are not being discussed to think about what the real problem is of why some people are mad at this X, Y, and Z. Because the people that say
Right.
they mad about the immigrations, they not mad because they think they bringing drugs to the country. That's not it. It's really not because they're misinformed. That's
I'm
all.
just,
They're
I'm gonna
misinformed.
just be honest. Like, I'm just tired of it. Like, it's so hard to try to convince people to do things for a system that you just know is just trash. It's hard. Like, this is I.
That's how you sound. You frozen. We can't see you or hear you. You like this. You are frozen. You stuck. Oh, you're stuck. You're stuck. I hope you can hear me. You're stuck. Mhm. You're stuck. I hope you hear me. I'ma let it stay black until you try to come back. Dun, dun, dun. Well, I guess this is another break, ladies and gentlemen, because I have to get Miss Unikoi back on the scene, crispy and clean. I wonder if I can change the look of this job while I'm here. So we're gonna take a break and we'll be right back. Try to get Koi back on the line. Give me a sec. See. All right, everybody, she's back. So we're gonna get her back on the line, and there she is.
Whole time, both the internets went out.
Wow.
I was
Wow.
watching the whole jump. Our whole jump shut down.
Oh wow. I knew it was something you was frozen. I was like,
So
good.
while you were teasing me, I was watching the Facebook, and literally yours shut down at the exact same time.
Oh snap. So it just your whole jump just went down.
And the entire page went. StreamYard went down.
Oh, on your side? Cause mine still was up. Cause I've been watching it. It's it did freeze up a little bit, but it stayed up on this side.
No, it went on this actual Facebook jump. It went to the actual background. And literally yours shut down. Yeah, it went to the
Yeah,
actual.
I opened the background. I did that.
Yeah, but nah, both the videos were like this. I was like, oh, what happened?
It was your fault.
That wasn't my fault. That's the weather.
Maybe
But
that's your
yeah,
fault. Turn
so
side.
um, wait, I was reading something. Um, Mom said something. Oh, talk about what he knows where the bodies are buried, and they are scared of him. Like, nah, he buried the bodies. That's why they're scared of him. Like, this dude's not right, y'all. Okay, I'm sorry. You got your family members coming out and write books about how disturbing you are as a human. Like that concerns me. And then the crazy part is, y'all, he supposed to be talking about Biden, right? He talks so much about Obama still. I hear Obama's name so much, and I be so confused. I be like, you just be giving this man so much power. Trump gives Obama so much power, son. Like, and then the Trumpers do too. Like, they talk about Obama more than they do Biden. I be like, why are we still talk? What's happening? Why are we bringing him up in this election? I'm confused. What's going
They
on?
don't want it because they the real idea of when they see Biden, they think of Obama and they think of black man and they think he for the black people and they like we don't like that. We don't like that. Everybody's already equal. We don't need any more. Like that's part of their factual um belief in their cognition.
Right,
Like is that we are all equal. Nothing is different for anybody in in this country. Everybody has the same opportunity. But I even can go to them and say, "You're not equal as these people over here." Let's do the numbers. Your economic value in your neighborhood is this much. Your school gets this much money because you only put up in this much money. But right over here, now they look like you a little bit, but they're a little bit better. Clothes a little cleaner, a little crisper. Their jobs a little bit better. Their economic value is this high. Their schools get this much. Their kids get this much access. Their kids happen to go to college and do these certain things to get these jobs, and they continue that. Some of them upgrade. Yours only move up maybe to the next level. And it begins to so socioeconomically, like we are not equal in this country at all. And
right,
nobody's saying that everybody has to be a millionaire. Everybody has to like that's not, I think, the idealistic way to look at what we're trying to create. But what we want is people to be able to be comfortable and happy in saying, I can make a living that is very good no matter what it is I do. And it could get better from there. But the bare minimum should be very good. You see, then we talk about equality because at least at the lowest level, see, equality is only equal when at the lowest level everything is the same. Everything is on the same playing field.
right,
It has to be the lowest people. If you have people that are struggling, like there's always going to be that level of people. Like you have added, you have certain shit that is just going to, like, it won't function in society. Non-functioning societal participants don't count. Okay, they're a dysfunction. So we have to deal with them differently, and there needs to be funds for that to deal with that in a separate way, not law enforcement. But for everyone else who chooses to function civilly in society, there should be a baseline. Like even the lowest educated person that's willing to work should be able to make a very good living at the lowest baseline that
right,
is comparable
right,
so that when we do have something like a pandemic, when somebody from maybe a higher baseline, like myself, needs a job at a lower baseline, it's still comparable enough that I can still survive. See, that's the makes it like now we can't. Everything becomes a little more equal. I'm not
yeah. I mean,
saying I'm the boss.
I'm just at a loss. Like I'm just not hopeful about any of it. I just it's just disheartening that there are that many humans that actually are not turned off by him, I guess. I think that's why it's hard for me to kind of cope with the idea of him like at all. Is the fact that they're actually people who are comfortable about the way he speaks.
Well, mommy's talk about that. Actually checking off campaign promises that he can't accomplish and blames other people.
Yeah, I don't, I hate
But
I hate it. Like I hate it. That like it's such a pet peeve for me because it's like, and it's so blatant when he does it. It's not like so blatant, dog. You don't even have to try that hard to dismantle it. If everyone can work to make a living, the economy would be so much better. Folks would be better mental states with the worry, with no food, home. It hurts that everyone is not upset about his lives. Yeah, it does, and I think it's just bothering me. It's like I'm exhausted because sometimes you just be like, really, Slim? Like, some of the stuff I have to dismantle. It's like, why do I have to dismantle this? Some of it be like so obvious, so
and
obvious.
what hurts me when I look at it specifically in social media, when it's a black person giving the misinformation and they have others supporting that person, and I'm telling that person that these others are not for you, but you think they are. And the moment that it becomes us against them in some way, you're going to be the us
Right.
and not with them.
Yeah, yeah,
And
it's
that's the hardest part for me is like, it's not even about the ideology. It's more about the understanding that this is misleading information. Like, you
mhm,
cannot talk about it. You cannot say these things to people.
right, right. And also like his lack of empathy for people who have died and who are sick in COVID is really
Ooh,
is
Kindle.
also very is also very disgusting. Like the lack of empathy that he shows for the amount of deaths, the amount of tragedies that have happened, the hurt that has been shown on a large level of display, like the lack of empathy. And I think that's why with Biden, like and just kind of watching the DNC, like there were some things on there that irritated me too, but kind of just watching him have empathy and even speak in his speech about really like the deaths and being able to speak on death and like being able to speak on depression and like being in a state of mind where you've lost a family member and having to survive after that. Like him being able to talk on a human level was
Mhm.
really nice to see after 45 has just been speaking in the spirit that he's been speaking in.
You're right, Kendall. The whole um, premise behind fake news is to mislead people to control them. The history behind it, and I'm glad you said that because the history behind it is, first there was very tight control over information because only certain people could write it and all the way up into the printing press. So only the leaders, military leaders, political leaders, only the highest people of the totem pole or the pyramid had access to. The higher you're up, more you had access to more information. Everything else was like word of mouth, whatever. Then you got the printing press, which allowed information to spread and like get out to the people, and more people became literate because of that, because you got more books, more things like that.
Right.
But the powers that be knew that you had to keep a controlling class, that you needed to put that to be your to oppress. And how you did that was make sure that the information they get was never complete, was always misleading, was only partial, and you keep them illiterate. You don't allow them to get
Mhm.
information. And we're seeing now that you don't even need to be that literate to get information,
Right,
but there's so much of it, we've convoluted it so that it's hard to trust.
right, right.
Right, you absolutely right. You said create stupid, easily swayable population. That's what I'm really seeing, Kendall, is people not being able to think about what's being said. Like some of it you can look at and say, if you were a sensibly living person who cares and has empathy, like Koy has said just now, some things just would not even work when they're said to you. You would feel like, no, 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 that's wrong. I don't
And
know.
I think that's the
And it would
misconception
make you
too,
want to dive
Kendall.
into yeah. Go ahead,
Kendall,
Queen.
like that's the misconception is like critical thinking, yo. Like I think I talked about this in another live. Like I really didn't know until I really became an adult that like everybody done got that capability, that critical thinking capability, and like you do have to teach it. And the people that don't have it naturally, you have to teach it. It can be taught. It can absolutely be. I've taught critical thinking, so it's just very. They so swayable though, like they so swayable. They so swayable. They so easy. They are the easiest group of sheep to get back into the pen. Like they are the easiest group. He don't have to do much to sway them. Like anywhere he chooses to go, they're gonna be like, he's a great man for, you know, telling the truth and coming forward about January. We're gonna vote for him. Like, watch how they spin that in their head. Yeah, I've already seen the statement.
What's up, brother?
I've already seen the statements. I was just about to say, I was like, little brother. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, that you just brought it up to the perfect thing is there are a lot of sheep
hmm
and sheep move in flocks. This guy is a wolf in sheep's clothing and they following the wolf. Okay. The wolf don't have no good intentions for the sheep.
hmm
That's the whole
not at
like
all.
that's what a wolf in sheep's clothing is.
Not at all. You know what I do with sheep?
A fake
I wear
sheep.
Uggs.
A fake
I wear
sheep. Right.
Uggs, y'all. I do. Sorry, Peter.
Sheep go to slaughter. Cows go to slaughter. All flocking animals
I mean,
that follow
y'all can be sheep
that
if y'all want
follow the
to. I'm just gonna
herd.
have more Uggs. More Uggs
But
for Koya.
because we understand that society is a herded situation, like we feel safe in communities and doing things and having things that are similar and moving in a similar way in organization. That's okay. We need leaders that understand sheep.
Or at least it don't have poison that they're about to give to the sheep.
No, they need to understand sheep. A wolf don't have no good intentions for sheep. Okay, a wolf in sheep's clothing. There's
You
no good.
need a
There
sheep
may be
herder.
other.
You need
Uh,
the herder.
that's a sheepdog. That's
You
a
need a sheep
shepherd
herder,
dog.
a
Okay,
shepherd dog.
okay. They not a sheep, but they
Right,
can move the sheep around in the right way to keep them away from the wolves, and then they
exactly.
protect them from the wolves. You see,
Right.
those are leaders. You see, in this scenario would be the sheepdogs, the shepherd dogs
Yeah,
that
see the
protect the sheep,
sheepdogs, I consider
and
those the Candace Owens of the world.
and they don't really bother the sheep too much as long as the sheep is doing what they supposed to do,
Most people fall
and
in line.
everybody, right? They the sheep kind of keep to themselves. The sheep kind of live a good life and just be chilling.
I
You
don't
see
really
what
like
I'm saying? It's when the sheep run off over here and do whatever. Sometimes you got to let a few of the sheep go. Some of us not going to stay in. We going over here. They deal with the wolves, but that's how some sheep are. Okay, and then there's other animals. Okay, there's a lot of other animals that's not sheep, but the majority.
Hey Matt, Kendall said if a Trump supporter was able to critically think, they would ask themselves, why would this extremely rich and greedy man of 74 years would suddenly have a change of heart and care for the poor?
He say Trump is fleecing the sheep. That's what I'm saying. You get it. He got a whole new line of clothes coming out.
Kendall,
Don't even understand. They wearing the shit. They like shit. I need some new clothes because I'm cold. The underwear. Why they don't have no fur? Then they put on the jacket. This nigga made. This a good
he
jacket.
took
Look,
off their fur, sold the fur, didn't give them no proceeds for the fur, and then
made
put
some
a
shit
jacket
and then
on.
sold them the shit that they made with the fur.
And put a jacket.
So we got these fleeces for y'all. Y'all cold. They made them
Hey,
cold,
son,
like
that's
coronavirus. He was like, I know it's
uh,
this is the misleading information. See, he knew the coronavirus was dangerous. He said, but you know what? I'm gonna try to do this. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna play it down so that when it get real serious, I can act like I'm doing something.
right.
So I'm gonna get them sick, and then I'm gonna get the cure going, and then I'm gonna look like a hero.
Oh my god, yo, that's hilarious.
I'm gonna get them cold, then I'm gonna put on a jacket with their own shit.
Yo, that's funny. That is hilarious. Yeah, facts. Then
Mm,
right when he's done, he will
y'all
slaughter
nice
them.
and
He
warm.
will absolutely slaughter them when he's
Look,
done.
I
Y'all will
got
be
more. Co-
y'all will be eating all shrimp, sheep burger, sheep sausage, sheep chops, sheep sheep legs, sheep feet, pickled sheep feet. Oh man, and he gonna
She
make y'all
said,
procreate
"Pickle
so there's
sheep
more
feet."
sheep.
Pickle.
They gonna make
That's
you got to procreate for more sheep, and then he gonna
because
do it all for
a wolf don't have any good intentions with the sheep.
you. It's all a fact.
Nothing misleading about nothing we're saying right now. There's no
He's
disinformation.
not even the wolf. He's like the person that has the disease where they have sex with animals.
Mm-mm,
Wolf is
I don't know what you said.
I said the wolf is pit. I said Trump is actually the guy that has the disease that has sex with the animals. They just stand next to each other.
Whatever. They don't have no good intentions with the sheep.
Cause Pence, terrified. You know how I feel about that, Mr. Robot Man. That's Mr. Robot Man. You don't trust him at all.
Yeah, cognitive dissonance, Kendall.
I actually think that
It's the
Pence,
unwilling
Pence has a little Nazi inside of him. You open up
to
his chest.
change to understand the truth. To like people don't want to know the truth. They're horrified of the truth. They scared of the truth. You can't handle the truth. Nope, they can't. They can't. People can't handle the truth. So they just like stick with what their norm is. They don't even try.
Matthew, wait to my little baby Hitler.
Oh,
He,
I got something for you, little baby. Don't do that. I can't do that because it would get banned.
I said, I said, Pence reminds me of a robot where you open up the robot and you open up his chest and there's like a little baby Hitler in the inside, like moving the pimps around like this.
Oh
And now
man,
your vice president out here wearing a mask. I'm confused.
he doing whatever.
He doing whatever every day, something different. People with our emotions are not capable of empathy. Dog,
without without
dog,
emotion.
dog, dog. His has
Yeah.
no emotions. I've never seen his face go like he be on. I was like, Pence, are you getting Botox? Like, what is going on? I really think you could peel his face off and he's just like a straight up robot under
Yo, but that's how people who are so evangelical and like so far um misled in religion
that. Hmm.
are. Like they can be like, and we're talking about those deep, deep, deep misleadings like Jehovah's Witness and Mormons and people like him.
Right.
Like all of them people who like they're so deep in it. Like it's almost like I envy them a little bit because they just be like, it's all up to God. God and we're just here. So emotions, why should I care if I'm doing what God told
I
me I
don't
should
like
do?
it. It freaks me
Like look at
out.
my eyes. I'm doing what God told me to do.
Nah, it freaks me
Right.
out.
God told me to
They
do
are
it.
the most dangerous
But
people.
it's a crazy way of it's not like a highly spiritual
No,
connection with
Jewel,
God
Jewel, you cannot.
where
Jewel, don't try to do that to yourself, okay? Because I'm gonna tell you where you need to stop.
flesh robots,
In the
right.
very beginning of the like putting like Trump running for office, that is the only time you can maybe grab onto a little bit of what a Trump supporter might have supported. In the very beginning, before he actually took action, right?
Hmm.
The things that he spoke about, there were people who were really aligned with that. Like I knew a lot of people who were aligned with what he was talking about, especially because he wasn't a politician.
Right. I listen.
Especially because everybody was on Get Back because we had a black president for 8 years.
Let me tell you something. I listened just because I wanted to see. We don't know much about this guy. Let me hear what he got to say. He might have been sitting in the shadows. I didn't know much about the other stuff, but it was like, let's see. Let's listen to him. Because I'm open to hearing with anybody who puts themselves on that platform and says they want to be in this position. I'm going to be open to listening to what you have to say. I don't care. Now,
Right.
if you start out with something stupid, then I'm, oh, this is an idiot. That, you know, when he started talking, I was like, this an
Matt,
idiot.
Matt, Jules said you can't take the Bible and distort it like the Handmaid's Tale. But flip side,
That's what they try to do, though.
part of the Bible is flipped like the Handmaid's Tale. I mean, some of the Bible is written like the Handmaid's Tale. That's just facts. So they definitely can flip it, but they are flipping the campaign for sure. Like it is the Handmaid's Tale out here. I'm confused. I was like, wait, what party am I watching? That's not y'all's campaign platform. That ain't y'all platform at all. Like, yo, Como and Don Lemon were just laughing every night. They would like literally come on air and bust out laughing because it was just they didn't know where to start every night. They were like, I don't know if I should start with the person that was yelling at me. I don't know if I should start with the person that has immigrant parents and they're still voting this way. I don't understand. I don't know who I should. I don't know if I should talk about the black guy that just sat up there and said there's no racism. Like they didn't know where to start. They were like, we don't know if we should bring the fact checker on. He looked exhausted by night 3. The fact checker was pissed. He was like, this is the most work I've had to do all year in 3 nights. That just is terrifying. That's terrifying, Matt. That is terrifying that a fact checker is talking about he's exhausted from the current president's platform, who's trying to extend his stay.
Mhm. They're misleading their the other info war is taking from one side, and this is psychological operations, flipping their campaign or flipping their information as yours
Right,
and using it and saying, like, that is to me, that may be the biggest part of this whole scandal
right,
that really got me is when you start taking platforms established by your opponent and then try to stand on them as your own, and then your people don't even question you about it. They're like, yeah, that's his.
But he's all like that. Well, Biden wants you guys to feel trapped, and he wants you to have no freedoms, and he wants you to. I was like, no, what, bro? You're the one that wants to be a dictator. What are you talking about? You just said Biden wants a utopia, a socialist utopia. How he gonna have a socialist utopia, but he
The spin
is
cycle.
also trying to get full control of everyone so that no one can freely think or move? That's not a socialist
It's
utopia.
more than a spin.
That's not
It's
a
more than
socialist
a spin.
utopia. It don't make no sense. How you say one thing and about the same person?
It's blatant plagiarism. It's
It's
blatant
plagiarism. It's
like
plagiarism. Did you see Kendall's
it is.
response?
What is it?
It said, trying to think like a Trump supporter is like trying to love your life without electricity. You are so used to access information and freedom. It's hard to imagine a world without it.
Right.
Oh my
No,
God.
you're absolutely right, Kendall. Because what they talk about in that is the fact that when you start to create um a plethora of misleading information, that cognitive dissonance kicks in heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier because people they get stuck they start to create a shell with it, like, no, I can't take in anymore. It's too much because it becomes too much information
Right.
to decipher. You just stick with, I know this,
Right.
and now you're holding on to that specific thing, and you're specific, and you're not even open to any other ideas, any other information, because and that's how fascism is takes over. Because
Mhm.
they hit you, they keep you right there in that place, and they're like, we'll keep it like this for you. You're like, okay, just keep it like that, okay, don't give me too much more, okay, just keep it like that. Wait,
Just keep
what,
it like that, okay?
you have to kill these people, millions of people, to keep it like that? Ugh.
Kendall said
Okay,
it's a
okay.
straight play by play of fascism. Yeah, yeah. Like it's it's just funny watching it. Like it's just weird watching it though. And it's funny that it's like so blatantly bad. It's just bad the way it's done. It's not even strategic. It's just it's so bad. It's like I've never seen the shenanigans in my life.
You know what a
Like a
socialist party
product.
was? The National Socialist Initiative. They call them Nazis or something. How they say it, yeah, we're called these, like people who believe in certain Democrats are called socialists.
Oh my God. He said he calls Trump supporters low bandwidth people. Dial up 25K modem.
Dial up
Yo, straight dark
20,
ages.
25K.
But that is exactly
They
who
on the
they are.
damn library internet, public library dial up internet that never went.
Public library.
What you mean, Bob?
Yeah, they not taking in no information. They
One
not,
computer, two computer desks.
and you can show
Stand
it
in
to them.
line and wait.
You
Dewey
can show it to
Decimal
them.
System ass people.
I'm worried about them and the flat earthers, man. I don't know. I don't know. The info is wrong. There's no additional research or validation used to confirm what Trump is saying. He's
Lexus,
wrong, folks.
Lexus.
Not any additional research or fact checking. Yeah, like and they not
Hey, we old though.
Jewel, they not watching
People be like,
the
what is
news.
that?
They're not watching the news. They're not watching the fact checkers. They're not watching none of
Right.
that. They don't have none of that information.
None of that, dog.
Nexus mainframe. Oh my God.
Right.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I say we old.
Windows 95.
You showing our
Oh,
age.
Windows 95.
You showing our digital age.
Right.
You showing
Windows
our digital age.
95. Oh, boy. Windows 95. Like,
Like
oh,
we remember when it came out in '95 though.
I
That's what's so
remember
crazy.
Windows 95 for real. Like, I was using Windows was 95.
Nah, they ask Jeeves. Jeeves tell them the truth. They be like, Jeeves is a
He
fucking
used to be
liberal.
like, no, he's a
He's
liar. The
he's a
president
fucking he's one of those left wingers.
is a liar.
Jeeves bias and shit. They wouldn't believe him.
They don't have phones. They have paid by number. Paid by number. They got a little.
Man, they send pigeons, man. They don't know what going on.
I,
AOL ass.
yeah, yeah.
AOL chat ass.
Paging each other. That's how they gonna vote. They all got pagers. They go.
Hello World. Axiom 8000 ass push
Not
button. Clack,
Yahoo
clack, clack,
Messenger.
clack, clack, clack.
Not the Yahoo
I'll take it
Messenger.
all the way back on
I'm gonna take it to
the
the Hotmail email, like the Hotmail email. It was like the junk you kind of told people to let it go, but they wouldn't let it go. You be like, let it go, and they wouldn't let it go for a real long time. Still a lot of little people out here with little Hotmails.
man, they a telegraph having ass people.
By the time you face check the fact check the lies, it's too late. Nobody's listening to the corrections.
That's what we talked about earlier. That's
Yeah, that's true,
like
Joe.
what I was talking about, like in 1710. I talked about this
What?
earlier. In 1710,
Oh yeah. I was like, what? Why are you talking about
you know, there was a writer talked about the fact that Jonathan Swift wrote the essay, The Art of Political Lying, and it talked about that once the falsehood is out, the truth comes limping after it. It's hard to like get people to believe the facts. So it's like it's over. You done put the lies out there, they become the new truth because the truth is gets hidden because now misinformation is being spread.
right?
And it spreads faster. Bad news spreads like fake news, bad news, lies, drama, war, killing. Everything spreads faster than positivity, than life, than growth, than success, than anything else, than truth. The bad spreads faster. And think about how fast it is to get angry. Like the littlest thing you could just you're mad. And how sometimes it's hard for you to even get like you got to figure out what makes you happy. Let me watch some comedy or you know, like we should be happy.
Right.
Yeah, Telegraph. He said they still paying for AOL, right? Boy, they still paying for them CDs in the mail, like shit.
Right. Oh my God. He's in the mail. I used to love that.
jamming from jamming from the 80s ass.
I used to love them CDs from the mail. I used to be in a little CD club.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the corrections and yeah, it's just not
Right, that's what happens. That's why it's such a bad cycle, is because once the falsehood has been spread, that has taken hold. People have begun to make their own beliefs about that. People have begun to create their reality with that misinformation. And then you give them the truth, it's hard to recreate the reality that they've already put on themselves because
right.
they've yeah, because you now you've probably added more lies too. Blockbuster videos. Y'all funny. Y'all
We,
just
we
keep
we
going.
are we are bombarded with false information. Bombarded. I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed by it. And I know it's not real, but it's frustrating to hear because it's like, oh my God. And for every lie that I cringe at, somebody thinks that's the truth. And I'm like, oh my God. It's just
Nah,
scary.
I still got a Nokia in the cut that I be just holding. That's an
What?
apocalypse. That's
Why
an
you just got
apocalypse
a
phone.
Nokia on the side just holding it? What are you doing?
That's an apocalypse phone. That joint will work in the apocalypse. We will
I
go
hate
back to
that.
basic
No.
sale, and that joint will not be damaged. You know, not need to worry about nothing. It's
Well, I
rough and
got a
tough.
whole bunch of them Jones around somewhere.
Let me stop.
Shit. I might sell
they
out.
they gonna be valuable. They gonna turn it into radios.
Yeah, MySpace is too much for them, Kendall, because they might have to pick a background. They can't do that. It got tricky. You started learning coding a little bit on MySpace.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
They can't do that.
They newspaper ass people,
They in the
man.
AOL chat. They in the chat room. That's it. They in the AOL chat room.
I mean, I had a BlackBerry. I like that job.
You had all the get with Jones, didn't you?
Nah, I had all the get with Jones. I
You
had
really did. The BlackBerry was the get with
when
Jones.
I had the BlackBerry, it wasn't popular no more.
Oh, that sounds about right. You always have it after the fact.
I have it. I have things where they not popular. You know what I'm
Like
saying?
way not popular, like 10 years out.
Or before,
You
or
were like,
during.
I got it. 10 years later.
Right?
Oh man. Well,
Yeah.
I'm sure we're gonna have more versions of this topic. Because it's just so much propaganda on so many levels in this country right now. But try your best to just check your information, be responsible about where you're getting your sources from. Check your sources. Um,
Hmm.
really check the dates of articles before you post them. Really listen to things all the way through before you share them. Like watch videos all the way through, read articles all the way through. I don't care if it's TV that don't share it, you know.
I think, and to answer that question, Kenda, to wake them up, to call to action, to do everything, we have to start speaking up. We have to take it full force. We as individuals have to take it to them. We have to support those people that are fighting against their families. So we have to sort of support the allies and be like, we got to take it to them. We got to say, this is the lies. We have to overwhelm them with the truth, because and we can't stand for them to spread it. If you know people, see, I purposely do not unfollow people who are spreading misinformation and that are supporters of the opposition. Keep your friends close, keep your enemies even closer. I believe in that wholeheartedly, but I also believe that it's my duty now to stand up to them, to stand in their face, to give more power, because I've noticed that when I do comment, I get more people to comment as well. And then when I support somebody else's comment because somebody is supporting the person that's wrong with misinformation, I go on all of them and I support them too. And then now people that I see can come in and support them. Like, we have to continuously follow up and like challenge. We have
Mental
to
as much as
challenge them
you can.
intellectually with the facts. And then we have to be like, that's wrong. Here's the truth. And overwhelm them
But
with
you
the
also
truth.
have to think about the audience you're speaking to. You have to think about the audience, whoever you're speaking to, like whoever you're having a conversation with. And then if it's people you personally know who are still on the fence, like have that personal conversation. Be like, voting for him is a vote against me. I'm going to die if you vote for him. You know, I'm going to suffer. My family's going to suffer. I'm going to suffer. Like, you have to make it personal for people you know. People you don't know, don't make it personal. They don't care. And they get very nasty about that, but you
Mm,
relate it to what you think they may be voting for. Because guess what? When they can't answer you in that moment, they realize they're racist.
mhm. And that's why I say you got to continue pushing. Like, we're at the point now that if we're on these platforms as a community, we have to continue to push. We we cannot. We got to
Can't give up.
stand.
You can't give
We
up.
on these platforms, we can lock arms and say boom, 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 boom. Get our riot shields and push at them. You see what I'm saying? With an origin, if you play Call of Duty, you know what a riot shield and origin is, a deadly matchup in the CQB situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to go at them, and we have to freaking press upon them that the facts are the facts, and here they are. Uh, Here, put it in their face. Roll out the joint. Here, da 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 da, and keep on pressing them. Because, like Koya said, when they pause and they no longer have something to say, and they no longer can throw something at you, and they've only resulted to insults and things like this, you've
Mhm.
won.
Yep.
And every time you do that, they can't do anything about it. So
Because
I'm
then,
at the point. I got some people that don't
then at that
respond to
point,
me
you have to
anymore.
realize those people are voting from hate. Those people are going to have to die eventually anyway. You just let them go. There's nothing you can do about them. Let them go with him wherever he goes.
Right,
Let
and
him go
this is
tomorrow.
for the people, and I believe in what you're saying. Unfortunately, there's some people that we cannot change, and we won't ever change. Some of these supporters are really supporters of the ideology, and I think we got to combat that. If they're of melanated complexion, we have to combat them. I don't give a damn who they are. They get. th-
I go
Um,
in.
I
I
got
go
time today.
in.
You can
I
get the
goes in with
right.
them. I
The
go in
whites.
with them.
We got to support our white allies so
Yeah,
that they
my
can fight
God.
against them.
Cause y'all they
'Cause
getting tired. They not used to this.
they
They not
need
used
us
to
to
this,
keep
and they need
giving,
help.
and we gotta keep feeding them the right stuff so that they can fight, and that's why we have to do it because they have to fight their family who are the people that are against
And
it.
their mates and their husbands and their wives and their like grandparents and their parents. Like it's bad. They fighting whole generations.
Right. So we have to take it to them. We can't hide in the shadows, stick with our own. Nah,
Nah,
we gotta freaking
I have open
everybody.
conversations.
Everybody got a place on this job.
Right.
If you support Cardi B, then you need to be sharing her stuff and supporting it. And when every time somebody say it, you'd be like, "Well, where's the intelligence in the person you're talking about?"
And also,
I'll
like, who
I'll
cares
wait.
who he is as a person? Listen to what she's saying.
Right. I say I'll wait because my person sounds very intelligent to me.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like the truth to me.
Yep.
Like with somebody who don't give a damn, who does not have to care,
I'm way
cares.
more disgusted by Candace Owens' hate of her own people than I am Cardi B shaking her ass on a pole. That's all I'm saying. I'm way more offended by Candace Owens' actions than I am any of Cardi B's actions.
That's why I talk about the wolf in sheep's clothing, Kendall. They don't see it. He's a guy like remember he's a billionaire wolf. So he got that good Hollywood. He Hollywood too. He got that good cosmetics like from the show. Motherfuckers like that man look like a sheep, dog.
Yeah.
Everything he function like a sheep. They like he a little big for a sheep. A little big, but he's
He's
a
a
sheep. Smell
little,
like a
he a
you know what I'm
little,
saying? But he's a wolf.
yeah, all facts. All facts.
Hmm.
Yeah, they get all the business. The oppressed brown and black people get all the business. I've been going in more actually with others than I have been with white people during this time. Actually, that's the crazy part.
And that's my belief about all these melanated people, Jewel, that believe in that really are misled, is that they don't like being a melanated person, and that's a freaking PTSS issue, the
Mhm.
post-traumatic slave syndrome. Like
Mhm.
that's generational. That's in our DNA. There's a lot of black people who is documented hate being black because of how much we have to do to freaking just survive. Period. You know,
Yep.
I think all of us have thought about it at least a few times. Like, damn, this is crazy that I have to live like this
Mhm.
just because I'm black.
Mhm. If people knew what I prepared to do in a day to go to like a regular work day when I had a job, like a regular person job. You know what I'm saying? Like if people knew what I did to actually prepare myself to walk into an office, to get out my mom's car, to go into the office. It took me like 30 minutes to like get out my mother's car. She would be like, "Get out the car." Like it would take me so long to put on that like whatever personality I needed to go in there with that day. just to survive. You know what I'm saying? Like almost every job I've had to do that. And it takes me so long to just prepare to go out into the world because it's like I can't just get up and go to school. I can't just get up and go to work. I can't just get up and go to the beach. I got to get up, go to the beach, worry about who I'm going with, think about who I'm going with, think about what I got on me, think about what they got on them, think about where we going and exactly what route are we taking to get there. Exactly what time are we going, what's happening at that time, what events are going on at that time. Like, if anyone knew what I actually look up,
Yeah, you got to have a story. You got to have your whole plan of where you're going to, what you're doing, who you with, how you go. What is our plan? What is our story together as a unit? We discuss these things. White people don't do that. I've been with them. Because I ask them questions when I'm hanging out with them that they don't understand. I'd be like, so what we doing? So if something happens, what's the plan? What do you mean? No, we're good. No, we're gonna go here. Hey, we need to relax. We got this is going on. Uh, uh we're good. We're good. Come on, Matt. We're good. Okay. Well, y'all do all the yeah. Y'all go. Y'all go on. Go. I'll wait. Let me see. Yeah, yeah. I'm with them.
I mean, like
Turn the car
even if I was in a group project, like in college, if I was in a group project, and if any of those people in that group are white, the only reason I was saved most of the time is because my personality always puts me in a position, no matter who's in the group, they always are like, "Oh, Corey, you should be the leader in the group," and I'm like, I don't want to do it,
hmm
and I'm like, I don't want to do it, except that one time when it was a white jump. And that was a tug of war that day. And that day, I didn't even want to be the leader. And then I had to do the tug of war because of the way she came out her mouth sideways. Like, why would y'all even ask Corey to do it? Type thing. What? I am the leader of every group in every class you will ever see me in. Okay, so I don't know why you think that anybody wanted you as the leader, but you go right in and take it. And I gave it to her, and she crashed and burned and gave it back to me. I thank.
hmm
But do you know what I had to do to get in position to be seen as a leader and not the angry black girl? Like, do you know what game I had to play to do that?
No,
Like, it's crazy.
it's a wild
And
world.
it's also crazy and insulting when people think I haven't been through it because it's super insulting for you to think that I'm any less black in this America that we live
hmm
in. They know I ain't white. You know what I'm saying? My white friends invited me for drinks in the booyer. I drove up and said, "Oh no, not here." Went in anyway, pointed out that we weren't being served. She looked at me and said, "Why?" I just looked at her and said, "Without a drink." Explained, I didn't drink and eat there. I just sleep for a moment. Mm. Yeah, TV was like a whole thing. But that's real. Like mom, like that's real because I've had to navigate my white friends that way too. I've had to do things like I can't go in that bar that y'all want me to go in. I don't want to. You know, sometimes it's I don't want to, and sometimes it's I can't go there. And they'll be like, "Why can't you go there?" Like, what you mean?
I let them know that y'all gonna fight. I said I'm not gonna fight them.
I was like, I don't want. It's just not worth it. Like
No,
some
I
things
let,
it's not worth
I've
it.
been in situations and I tell them, I said, let me tell y'all something. If we go in this joint and these people in here and they look at the look at who y'all with. Okay, Matt, it's gonna be okay, Matt. It's gonna come on, man. I know these people like I'm like, okay, listen. This is what I've been trained to identify situations that may not be favorable to my kind. Okay. I'm
Right.
telling y'all right now, if there's a problem, y'all gonna be the ones dealing with it. Somebody step to me, I'm gonna put you right in front of them and say, fight him first. Y'all got, and that's how what I'm saying right now.
As most
I'll
people,
support you.
as most black people, what the most stressful thing is about a road trip is taking stops and breaks and eating breaks and things like that, especially back in the day when there weren't as many choices.
Mhm.
Because even when we were growing up as kids, it wasn't that many choices.
Mm-mm.
And I have been in restaurants, we have been in pit stops, we have been in places that we should not have been in there. And we have
Oh, I
left.
sure have. We sure have.
And it's not fun.
It's not fun.
It's not fun.
Not fun to feel like that pickup truck coming down the road is
We
trying to
nicked
get
up.
niggas. You know what
We
I'm
be
saying?
nicked up. We be
You know what
nicked
I'm saying?
up.
Like it's not fun when
No.
you know you in a place like in America in a state like where like this is where it happens
Right,
right
right.
here. Like you know what I'm saying? Like that shit ain't fun for me. Like white people don't think about that. They never
No.
have to. It's not part of their psyche at all. They
No.
be anywhere, like la la la, and then when they see them, that's just another, whatever. When
Right.
they see us, what you doing around here? What you mean? I'm passing through like everybody else do. Damn, not 2020,
But
2010,
see, like my, but
2008.
but like mom, that
Come on.
statement's so crazy to me. Like that a white person would be shocked that their white Labradors loved you right away because they've never met black people. Like you're human, so like the dog was either gonna like you or not like you. Now,
It's,
unless that dog
it's
was
only a couple.
specifically
It's,
trained. There's only a few
I'm
racially
about to
trained
say it's
dogs
only a few
out
dogs.
there,
It's a
and
few
that's
dogs that's racist.
okay.
But
And
it's a small handful of them. One is German Shepherds. They racist. I don't care if you own one. If you, I don't give a damn. You love them to death. German Shepherds, racist dogs, and y'all can't tell me otherwise. They were bred by the Nazis to
dogs
be
are colorblind, but they can sniff us out.
racist against. They were trained and
Mom.
bred, trained and bred to identify people of color, certain smells, certain characteristics that are unique to just Jews, to blacks, to anybody that was deemed not part of what they wanted. So y'all can look that up when you want if you don't believe me because this ain't fake news. Okay, this is not misinformation. I'm not disinforming you of anything. These are facts. That's
Right.
why I don't fuck with them because if it's a purebred, that means it's from a line that was bred. I don't care how money train is. The only reason they in the U.S. is because the United States government, the military police, and the police departments brought them here in the 50s, took them the direct jumps from the kennels in Germany and brought them here because they was already trained to attack the people they was trying to oppress. Get out of here. You ain't got time. I ain't got time. All the German shepherds is Nazis. Get out of here. German Pitchermans too. I
Okay.
don't care.
Okay. I was going to say, is there any other dogs? You just went
Do-
off about the German
Doberman Pitchermans too. Them too.
Doberman.
My
Okay.
friend got one, and I told him, I said, that John to turn on you. He was like, "Oh, I was training." I said, "All right, it's racist, and them the dumb racist one. Then you got the other ones because them dumb. They dumb. That's a dumb dog right there. The little ass head, peanut brain. They get stupid and they go crazy, and they've been trained to
I
attack
have never
people.
heard this man talk about dogs in this way. He loves dogs. So just FYI. But those two dogs in
But
particular,
they
he
can smell color. God dang it. They could be colorblind all they want. They got other ways of telling what the heck you are and how different you are. I don't care. That joke's in there, and they're animal.
oh, they can see shading though.
I wait. Prove me wrong.
They can see a value scale, actually.
Hmm. And they see shade, so they know this shade lighter than that shade.
Yeah.
So that was an easier train for the dogs than it is to train them to figure out the Jews. Now imagine how much training they had to do and like systemic, like scientific stuff they were doing to the dogs to get them to find a Jew amongst white people.
Right.
That's
Right.
what I'm trying to say. Like if they were training them to do that,
Right.
okay, it's easy for them to train when you see the darker shade just attack it.
Facts.
That's like dark shade go. They dark
And we
shade
are
go.
not saying that I believe that all animals especially like dogs. Like dog is a domestic animal here, and um, I've met nice dogs of all types.
Right, me too.
But historically,
Except for
there
German
were some
Shepherds.
things.
I ain't never met a nice German Shepherd.
I've
I would.
never met a nice German Shepherd. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not sure if I've
They
ever
be they behave. They be like, he's nice. I
met
said,
a
no,
nice.
he's behaved.
Have I met a nice of the other one either?
Which one?
What was the other dog?
The Doberman? Cody nice. Cody's the nicest Doberman I've met. And he's still kind of an asshole.
I don't know whose dog that is, but
That's Bo and Erica dog.
oh
That
God,
big baby. That's a
that
big
dog
ass
is hell. But he's still kind of an ass though. Like like he's a nice dog, but
dog.
he's kind of got an asshole disposition.
You can see it, right? He's kind
Like
of
he
like,
kind of walk in the room like, I know you ain't gonna fuck with me for real though. Like,
right. So I'm gonna do what the hell
and
I
I be
want to
like, you
do.
right, you got it. I'm moving over here. That's a horse. I'm coming over here.
It's a big ass dog.
That dog's big as hell. No, but outside of that dog, I've never met a nice Doberman. I grew up with two of the meanest Dobermans ever.
Right. Corey, I ain't never seen one ever be nice. They ain't depicted as a nice dog. I ain't never seen one in
They
real
tell you
life.
to stay away from it.
I,
They always tell kids to stay away from it in the 80s. They was
I
like,
never
stay
seen
away from it. Do not go to the Doberman and touch them.
I, I never seen nobody walking a Doberman. Cause I don't think they could be walked except for Cody. I've never seen nobody like I listen. I seen people walk German shepherds, but they be
Kendall
trained.
said German shepherds walk like a stalker. And Jules said, I love dogs, not men that are dogs, but dogs that are animals.
That was funny.
But wait, German shepherds walking like a stalker is the most.
I'm telling you, they got the face, they got the whole Nazi face and shit. They walk when they stand up straight, they be
They be like,
asking for a paw. They do like this. They give
they
you a
do.
paw. They like, "Ah,
They do.
they,
They
they
do.
get a
They
little
do
paw
do it.
straight
They
and shit.
do. They do. I
Pit
don't like.
bull paw,
I don't
the
like
pit
them.
bull paw be kind of bent. You know what I'm saying?
I
Pit
just
bull
started
be like
picturing what a German Shepherd look like.
pit bulls be
I don't
chilling.
like.
They be, what's
I
up,
don't like.
homie?
I don't like them at all.
Pit bulls is Hispanics and black people. They be chilling.
They do. They be chilling.
They be like, "What's
They be
up?"
chilling on the block. They just be
They be
chilling.
cool. They look aggressive. People. That's why pit bulls are the representation of black people in the dog world because people see a pit bull and they automatically scared.
Kendall said, "Look at their black legs.
Right. The
They
German
look like
Shepherd,
they look like trousers."
they got the uniform. Don't they uniform? Don't they body look like the uniform with the pants? And then they go down to the boots that they had on, and they
All
had the.
that.
They look like they
All
look
that.
like they.
All
Come on,
that.
man.
All of it.
I
Oh
rate you.
my god, yo, that is funny as hell. That is the most hilarious dog
These
conversation.
is facts, ladies and gentlemen. My dog's not racist. My dog's a
Yeah,
great
my
German.
dog is not a racist. Your dog is a racist and will rape and will eat off people's faces. Okay.
If it's a German Shepherd, it's a race. It's a race. And I don't give a damn. It's a race. It's systemic. It's in his blood. Doesn't mean that it's acting on racism. I'm just
It just
that,
means you can train them probably quicker to be racist.
right. There's some shit in there that if you trigger it, that
You
shit gonna
might
come
be a
out.
racist.
That shit gonna come out. That's just what I'm saying. It's some shit that if you push the button, that shit might come out. You know.
Oh boy, this is
But
hilarious. Oh, Ty, that was funny. I think we should end it on that because that is just hilarious to me. The dogs, racist dogs. Damn,
Mhm,
that's tough.
mhm.
We gotta worry about racist dogs.
Right. They were literally bred to be. Like these are facts. It's not even that.
Exactly. The predisposition to be racist, German Shepherds. Exactly. I like that. The predisposition.
Right.
Oh man, don't trigger it. Right. That's what I'm saying.
Just like a pit bull has a predisposition to fight because they were bred to be workers and fighters. If you train them, if you put them in an environment
Right.
where they become a fighter, you get that side of the dog.
Right.
Same thing with them racist ass Germans. Say you put if you train they ass like the police do,
Hmm.
it triggers some shit. How many times they talk about, especially in the 70s and 80s, and think about the civil rights movement, how they had these dogs. These dogs was one, two generations removed. You know, only a few generations removed from the dogs that was literally they brought over here for that particular reason. They just sick them dogs on them people, and them dogs went ham.
Right.
They had to train them to do that. They was already trained. It's in their disposition. They just put them in the environment, and they were like, "I don't think I like these people. Rah! Get out of here." But yeah, don't trigger it. And on that note, we're not trying to trigger it in America. We're not trying to trigger anything by misleading people. We want to try to facts. Stand up for your rights. Stand up for the truth. Face the opposition.
If you have an opportunity to educate and unlearn some of the shenanigans, take that opportunity. Leave your personal belief systems behind though, like in those conversations. Like don't make it about that. Make it about what is detrimental to where we are as a country, as a people.
That's a racist name, Al Sheldrick. Like I don't know, is that African? No, I don't know. But it's like no, he was. You just listen. You just didn't trigger it. You raised him, so
Oh
he
yeah, the
was good.
KKK, the police is all hands in hand on deck. Like they best friends out here. Best friends, Kendall. They are best friends out here.
Yeah, I've read. I know all about that. That's what I'm talking about. That's how I know this information about the dogs. It's
Right,
in that history.
right. But anyway, on that note, just good luck, guys. I don't know.
Right. We want to tell everybody thank you, and we appreciate it. We're going to continue
Share, like, subscribe,
subscribe.
the bell for notifications. Share though. Share this. Share it on your
Yeah,
wall.
we're gonna start
Share it
breaking
with
down
your
the video. Yeah, we're gonna get the information out. Start to want if you want to be part of the discussion, hit us up. Let us know you got a topic you want to talk about. You want to lead it. We open. We're not just here just for us to rant. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we like other people to come on and just give the news. Be smart. Have a high IQ like this guy, Einstein. I mean, I couldn't see my gun, could you? Uh, I stay strapped. Sorry, I can still carry.
You
So,
guys, thank you for coming out. Love you guys.
by the ones creative group, the ones creative group, and we'll see you later, 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 later. Bye, bye. Real talk.